Hey, good morning, Baton Rouge. It's a great day. It's a great Monday. It's mornings without Brian Haldane, Gordy Rush's favorite show of the year. Dixon McMakin, joined by Emily Chenevert. Emily, happy Monday to you. How you doing?
Happy Monday. This is exciting. Glad to be back doing this together.
This is so much fun. Was hearing from the team all weekend about, hey, who's filling in Monday for Brian? Like, well, it's Emily and I. Like, Dixon, can you just stay home and just let Emily do the whole thing?
No.
I was like, this is a combo now. You're getting it Monday and Friday this week, of course, with Big John on the ones and twos for us as well. So we're going to have a great day. Got it filled in with, I think, with a lot of great guests. Something I found out was people, when we call them to be on Mornings Without Brian Haldane, are so excited to be on the show because, of course, Brian might ask them something tricky, very intellectual. This show is more about the fun side of Baton Rouge. We're going to hit some big topics, but nothing too serious, I would say.
That's right. And it's Christmas this week.
Yeah.
So we're having a good time.
We're going to start off in the 6 o'clock hour. We're going to have David Cresson with CCA. Talk about how the fishing year went for them, everything that's happening, and what's to come and expected. Then you got Mike Johnson to come on. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House?
Our Speaker Pro Tem.
That one.
That's right.
That's right. Okay.
But we love that Mike Johnson. We love that Mike Johnson. We're excited to have him come on and talk about some good things that just took place in D.C. So I think people want to hear that this morning. And
then the 7 o'clock hour, Ronnie Rance, the man of many, many talents. Of course, he's on the radio as well a good bit. Talk about the Hall of Fame, all the things that are going on, what he's doing. He's on the boxing commission. Didn't know that. So Ronnie Rance is just all over the place. And our good friend, Rep. Stephanie Baralt as well, coming on to talk about something she's involved with.
Right, our Louisiana Doge, I like to say, right, that pointed by that the governor started. So we'll be excited to dive into that, as well as Rep. Kim Carver coming on later today. So we have some good freshman lineup.
Kim's expertise is all over the place, but of course, education, then even passed a bill about social media accounts and things like that. I remember sitting next to him when some of those went down and kind of looked over at me. He's like, I think Facebook just texted me. I was like, wait, what? He goes, how'd they get my numbers? Like, dude, they know.
They know
everything. And then we're going to end with the mayor-elect himself, Sid Edwards, coming on the line, talk about that. Hey, just next Thursday, he gets sworn in.
I know.
So it's here, and the transition team with Senator Rick Edmonds is moving along. So to find out from him kind of what's going on, I'm excited to talk to him. Haven't seen him since 4 days ago.
4 days ago, yeah. No, I'm excited too. We have a lot happening in the new year in the greater Baton Rouge area. So,
well, let's start this morning with top stories and trending. Is that a bump? Is that a thing?
I don't have any top stories, but
okay.
I thought you did.
Let's go.
No, I didn't know. Was that one of those bump things? Did you play? Well, I can't hear it. Okay, so the Angola Rodeo is going to be returning next year under the new warden, so that'll be exciting to see. Okay. Of course, I've been out there a few times, and always a really fun event. Of course, over the weekend, a man was killed by a Tangipahoa deputy, was armed, fleeing the arrest when shot. So the Louisiana police are looking into that one. We also had a Prairieville man was killed over the weekend after his car was struck by a tree Saturday night. And then, of course, over the weekend, lots of stories out there on WBRZ.com about people helping out. Toys for Tots was out there. Santa Clauses were all over the place. So a lot of great things as well happening around the Baton Rouge area, too.
That's right. And so, look, I think after we've gone through all of our little top stories, unless, John, you got some more top stories, we're good on that?
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it, yeah. As far as top stories go, yeah.
Well, the biggest story this week, like I said, I mean, I don't know. We haven't mentioned a whole bunch about Christmas, but Christmas Eve is coming up, obviously tomorrow. Christmas Day. And the biggest story is everyone done with their Christmas shopping? But hey, we'll see.
I can tell you I am not.
You're not.
I am
You're not.
No, I am not.
Well, you have a little bit more time.
I'll be shopping this afternoon.
Okay, all right. What about
last minute gifts.
Yeah, 38-year-old, 1.5 years married. I think if you were to take the odds on am I done with Christmas shopping or not, you would take the no, and the no would be absolutely correct. Little project I have to do at the house.
Okay.
I know the wife's not listening, will not be listening to this. So plan on doing that one tomorrow when she's at work, trying to do a little something at the house for her.
Some honeydews.
Some honeydew. Well, this is a big honeydew, I think. So that's the goal. And then, I got 2 more smaller things to go buy that I'm hoping that the stores I want to go buy them from. Costco, are you open today?
Costco's
we'll
open today. I think
like,
we'll be making a
open.
run. Please be open today. I will say there's a lot. Look, I will say this. A lot of people are doing some last minute shopping. I know this. I remember years ago when I was doing a lot of retail work, college and things, the men are usually out heavily today, right? Today and tomorrow they're out finding they're finding that perfect gift.
Well, I think you just want to wait for that opportunity that will come. Wait, let me take a sip. That's what we do.
Please do.
That opportunity to make sure what you're getting is the right thing.
That's
you
right.
really want to make sure that all those hints have been laid, everything they've told you throughout the year that you were supposed to remember to buy in December that you never will, that you have the opportunity to go do that. So I think that's why the men wait.
It is.
And the women, they're taking more of a chance. They get out there early. They do the Christmas shopping. That's more of a risk. So do we need to take a break right now?
No, you're good. So, that's what it is, Dixon. That's exactly what it is.
Right.
We're waiting till
So we have all the information. Gathered everything.
Look,
the crowds
are
dying down. It's like, okay, now there's no lines. We go in. We get what we need. That's it. That's really.
Look, and
it's very strategic.
I like the way it's right. It's strategic, but the thing is too, it also creates a little of an opportunity for every now and then the child's throwing out, "Hey, I really want this," and you're like, "Hey, I mean, I don't know. We're a little close to maybe get everything on the list, but if Dad's still shopping." There's that opportunity there.
Yeah. Child/wife might say that, of course. Hey, did you? I mean, literally last night I got the. Hey, I would really like a new candle lighter. A new lighter. The one we have is. I got one of those like flame ones. Oh, man. Not a big fan of the flame one.
Yeah.
She really wants a more traditional one.
More traditional.
So, you know what? I think she's gonna find one of those in her stocking. Come Christmas morning. I'm really excited for that. So, but of course, I did go shopping yesterday. We went around District 68, I will say. Southtown Shopping Center, got some things over there, and, of course, on Perkins as well. So go shop local if you can today. Of course, I was joking. I have nothing to buy from Costco today, but I know they are open probably. But go shop local. Those shops are probably open today, that final kind of day. Might find some, end-of-season specials.
There's still some sales.
Oh, and absolutely.
Right? People listening, if you feel like you've missed them all, maybe they're still there. I've seen some yesterday.
So go out there, shop local today, have a great time. Christmas is just 2 days away. We'll be back after this. Mornings without Brian Haldane.
And there he is.
I said that one time last time we were on. I was like, literally the best thing someone told me was like, that was so good when you said mornings without Brian Haldane.
It was hilarious.
I just stick to that.
All right, we got sports. 6:15.
It's stuck because that's what I named the live on on Facebook. Yeah, my bad. I should have been on my P's and Q's with the trending thing. I didn't know if we were still doing it, so I was like,
so we're gonna.
Oh, I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, we'll do it again
breaks,
at 7:06 for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I pulled up some stuff.
No, there's still time, guys, for shopping. It's out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a real deal.
We'll do sports, and then we'll do, we're going to do just Christmas time after that. We talked about just doing Christmas movies, Christmas.
I got some good questions. Let's see how you guys are on your Christmas trivia.
Trivia.
Christmas movie trivia, Lo?
Okay. I'm ready.
See if y'all are
I'm ready.
I love Christmas movies. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm pretty much done.
There's a show on Netflix right now called The Movies That Made Us.
I've heard of that. I haven't seen it.
So Elf is on there. Yeah. Home Alone is on there. It shows you you would die for it.
Is it awesome?
Because it's about like the production of movies and how they got to how they did what they did, the order they got. Like Elf was supposed to be Chris Farley originally.
Did not know that.
Home Alone was written by like these guys that wrote every 80s movie that we've all loved forever. 16 Candles, all those same writers, people.
I need to watch it.
I have a few more. I'm not going to watch any of the Halloween ones. I could care less about those, but yeah.
Yeah, be thinking about your favorites and why, right? Everyone has a favorite Christmas movie. We have multiple, but we're quite festive in the Chenevert house during Christmas.
No, sir. First call you'll make will be for the 6:38 segment.
Everything else is we have someone for all the segments.
Well, sure.
I was working on a great organization, but we may have to try to get them on Friday or something. It was hard at that early morning hour.
Yeah, no one wants to come on the first hour.
It's so early. They're like, oh, you're not used to being up. So for this next segment, for sports, you're going to come back and do.
Just
or is it
all
pre-recorded?
sports.
All the sports going on.
I think that's me. That should be
Yeah,
me.
that's you.
Yeah, I got just all these things that happened
Okay.
with that. Just sports all over my list. Sports. Yay, sports. Is anyone doing a show tomorrow? Y'all aren't doing shows Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So then David St. Romain's going to come in and try to fill our shoes.
Oh, Davis will be in tomorrow.
He's Thursday.
Good little tune right here.
We're going to need some Elvis Blue Christmas at some point. Oh, that was live. Okay, yeah. Elvis Blue Christmas at some point. We're allowed to do that. I don't know. I'll just do it live. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Let me get my guitar real quick.
Okay, who needs the track when we have Dixon McMakin?
Hey, let's. Today's Monday, so a lot of sports happened over the weekend. Of course, yesterday as well. The LSU men's basketball team took down the New Orleans Privateers last night, 86-70. I don't need a lot of notes on this one. Was calling the game in the PMAC, so tied 38-38 to begin. LSU got off to a slow start in the three-point line, then came back in the second half. Victorious Miller, I believe, and Jordan Sears were our leading scorers. Take down the Privateers 86-70. Of course, yesterday some LSU players were all around. The Commanders beat the Eagles 36-33. Jaden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner, 5 touchdown passes for the Commanders, and someone has him on his fantasy football team. And thank you, Jaden Daniels. I'm heading to the finals. Joey B and the Bengals, 24-6. He was victorious as well. And then an interesting thing, the Cowboys, I know a lot of Saints fans probably like to hear this one. The Cowboys were knocked out of playoff contention, can't make the playoffs anymore. Then they beat Tampa Bay. So it was one of those, you're knocked out. Saints fans are happy about that.
Right.
Then you beat a division rival. So you're happy, double-ish happy for the Cowboys? As a Saints fan? That's kind of
odd, huh?
Yeah. Pelicans went down to the Nuggets. They lost 132-129. That was a final in OT. And then, of course, tonight, Monday Night Football, the New Orleans Saints traveling to the Packers. The Saints 5-1. The Packers 10-4. It's going to be a cold-ass game. Moscona's going to talk about it all day. The Saints, I hope I'm wrong, have 0.0% chance of winning this game tonight. And
Come on, let's have a little.
They're a minus 1,000 dog tonight. Okay, minus 1,000. That means to win $100, you have to bet $1,000 on the Packers to win 100 in ice cold Lambeau Field tonight.
Freezing.
But who dat? Like, come on, guys, go up there, wear your extra layer clothes, take down the Packers. It's gonna be awesome. Rattlers out there and all that. But yeah, they're probably gonna lose. So sorry about that, folks.
Cold night. Woo.
Cold night. Coming up, mornings
night.
with Brian, without Brian Haldane. We're going to do a little Christmas talking. Emily has a quiz for us.
That's right.
When we come back.
Yeah, those are like the Your Money Nows and Fox News and stuff.
Yeah, all those.
Yeah. So that second segment is always just so tight. Sometimes when we go in the sports, Brian's like, dang, I don't have time for my clips. Like, there's no.
Yeah, it's just
it's so
easy.
quick.
I feel like a lot of them are just so fast. Like once you start getting into it.
Yeah, the 6 o'clock hour is just so,
It really
the timing is so choppy.
It is. You just move right along.
You get on there for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Has my mom tuned in to Facebook Live yet? Let's see. We're going to tell you, like, if you're viewing live with somebody. Be the first to comment. No one's tuning in.
Is she the first to comment?
No, I'm saying no one's commented yet. There's 4 watchers. Trying to double our ratings today for Brian.
All right, let me get my.
Okay, Emily, trivia time coming up. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing how dumb I am.
It'll make it. I found a really good site, which we can talk about. We are out at 6:31 for this next one. Ish.
Yep.
Okay.
Be like 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when ABC News hits. ABC News, they do, so it's 6:30.
Okay.
It's wild, but ABC News, because it's kind of like with Your Money Now is always going to be 10 minutes till, so 6:50, 7:50, and 8:50. It's just those hard breaks, and then ABC News is 6:30, literally like on the dot. It's like.
So we're leading into that news, yeah.
Mhm.
ABC News.
Does that work for you, John?
Should I call him? Yeah.
He's going to be our 6:38 segment after this one.
Mike, he has a number, correct?
So do I need to call him?
Correct. Yeah, they're both going to be called, I believe. Yeah. Or we gave Mike the number, but I don't know. The Crest on it, we said we're going to call him. I also want to make sure I use that as a wake-up call, just in case.
Yeah, that'll work.
Right. That one time we had a.
So coming into this segment, where he's going to be on the line, so I should call him probably. Well.
No, he's going to be in the 6:38 one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we'll do this one through
See, we
31.
probably should send a sheet to John next time. Yeah, that'd probably be helpful. We'll do that for Friday. I'll be at my printer.
You're good.
We're gonna try. We'll tweak it and get better and better.
We're trying to. Yeah,
Make your life
I think the governor's definitely coming on Friday. We'll try to get him.
Insurance?
What's the longest segment we
You don't
got?
have traffic, huh? I don't have. What do I have? I don't have traffic either.
Traffic wasn't on our sheet.
Mm-mm.
There's no traffic yet. Monday of Christmas hadn't started yet.
Just wait until this
There's a water buffalo stuck in the river.
There will be traffic today, tomorrow. It hasn't been that bad actually. In some parts.
Maybe in District 66.
In District 68 is a little different. You know, it's fine.
There you go, big dog. There we go.
I realized you couldn't hear it.
I would say. I know you looked at me with this look of. You looked at me with this look of wonder, and I was like, "What are you looking at?" This is one of the best ones of all time.
I know. Yeah, you got to come after this.
Christmas tree won't be the same thing if you're not here with me.
It's not bad.
Okay, there we go. Welcome back, Mornings Without Brian Haldane. ETA, Elvis Tribute Artist show now. So we're just going to do Elvis Christmas music the whole way through. No, we're not going to do that.
Not going to do that this morning. No, it's a joy to be here. Emily Chenevert and Dixon McMakin. And right now, we're going to do a little bit of a Christmas movie trivia. Is that good?
Okay.
Before then, have anyone seen any of the new Christmas movies out? We did a family trip.
What are the new
we
ones?
did a little family trip to the best Christmas pageant ever. So I don't know. Like, we are big movie people, obviously, in the home during Christmas. And so we have a good time. My son is all about it. We sit down and watch his favorite, which would be Christmas Chronicles, which is kind of a newer one, but it is. Nice. So a little trivia in Christmas Chronicles. Does anyone know the famous couple that plays Mr. and Mrs. Claus? Does anyone know?
Kurt Russell, right?
Very good. And
Goldie Hawn.
Good. That's awesome. That's it. That's question number one. Okay. Christmas Chronicles. Didn't expect that one to be as you would have that one so fast.
Of course.
All right. What is the highest grossing, would you say? Christmas movie highest grossing.
Oh.
I think I know this one.
You know this one? What is it?
I think it's Home Alone.
You think it's?
That was going to be my guess as well.
That's it?
It's got to be, right?
Home Alone it is.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I'm pretty sure that maybe second highest would be Elf. I need to double check on that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like that. Everybody always asks, did you watch Elf this year, Home Alone, whatever.
But the Elf, what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
What's your favorite color? What is it?
Navy blue. Yours? I thought you were just quoting it for a second. What's your favorite color? What is yours?
What's my favorite color?
Yeah,
honestly?
like now I'm asking you. Yeah.
Oh, my favorite color is red, actually.
Red.
Yes, bold. Always loved red, the color red. So, all right, so let's kind of get into this a little bit. I'm going to give like 3 words of describing a Christmas movie. Okay, it's one of my favorites, classic. Okay, it is, we'll say angels, money, and family.
I think I know where we're going with this.
Where are we going with this?
Is it
Let's go.
It's a Wonderful Life?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
I was thinking Die Hard.
I'll be honest. If you're going, well, I'm not sure where he's going with that one. But if you're going to watch one, now between Christmas, I'm going to say It's a Wonderful Life is so good, classic, right? Great meaning, reminds us of wow, we have family together, all the important things. All right. Let's see. What is one where, we've got another little 3-word trivia. So we're going to New York. Let's say New York, 34th Street. I'm making this one easy. Come on. And family's another one there. Come on.
I think I got it, but let's give Dixon a shot.
No, you go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Miracle on 34th Street?
Go ahead.
Miracle on 34th Street.
Okay.
Another great one. Obviously, New York's a great place to be.
Yeah, I was going to say that narrows it down to every Christmas movie.
It does, right? I feel like. Because even Home Alone 2, you're in New York, whatever, if you haven't been there. It's just a magical time, I feel like, in the city. What is your favorite Christmas movie, John? Like, if you're going to pick one, is there one that you...
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. You know what? Home Alone's up there, but I think, one that we gather with the family, like Jack Frost is another one, the Michael Keaton one.
We just watched that one again.
That's another one. A lot of Christmas movies going on at the house.
Add this to your list, Dixon. These are some good ones. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But I mean,
what list do I have? What list is it?
I'm going to create one. I'm making one.
All right, we're starting a list now.
I do like how you mentioned Die Hard as a Christmas movie, though. I do like that.
Yeah, it's not a Christmas movie.
Look, it's kind of funny that when we sit around and watch these, my husband, our kids, we're like, what are we watching right now? I was like, doesn't have Christmas in it. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I feel right now, right? I mean, everyth's got to have that vibe, I feel like.
Yeah. The Grinch we watched last night.
The Grinch, right.
Jim Carrey one.
Yeah. Hates, loathes.
No, but we did see also that I was saying the best Christmas pageant ever. But a lot of these movies are in theaters and tell families you can also stream online. So if you don't want to take everyone to the movie theater, you can.
We did that the other night.
Stay in warm,
put the fire on,
little popcorn, whatever. So, but anyway, I think we're about to hit some news.
We got 1 minute. We got 1 minute. And you know another big one is the Santa Claus, the trilogy. The Tim Allen trilogy.
That's right. We've watched all those.
The Disney Plus series was pretty good, too.
Hey, and another one, Christmas with the Cranks.
Yes.
Funny.
Yes, very good.
Funny. They're going to skip Christmas, they think.
So they
That's
think.
what they so they think. And they don't really skip Christmas. But it's a good one.
I'm clearly more emotional than you two are. The Holiday.
Yeah, that's
another
good
one. That one.
It's another good
Tearjerker, The Family Stone. We all know T-Bob cries like a little bitty baby when he watches that one.
Oh, look at you. You do have a list. He has a list. He's got a list.
It's just on the other side of like what you would think, right?
Love Actually.
Look at it. There we go.
When the Prime Minister does that dance down the hallway, like, this one goes out for you, Mr. Prime Minister. Jump for my love, jump in. It's Hugh Grant, like doing the shimmy down the hallway. I've gone down through a few stairwells and hallways. Little shimmy time. When we come back, we're going to shimmy with David Creston of CCA.
Let's do it.
Good stuff.
That was fun.
It's fun. You do have a list. I just watched the Holiday TV. It's one of my favorite romantic.
Best hate
You have the list, but like I didn't think it was like on that side of things. Like I'm thinking like Christmas movies. You're like, no, you got like the rom-coms. I like that.
I know. That's a good rom-com though.
That is
I just
good
watched
stuff.
it.
I'm a cuddle up rom-comer.
You're a cuddle up,
dude. Yeah.
Wrap that blanket around me. I don't want to move.
Yeah.
Like just put it on, and
man. That's what I'm talking about.
I feel like
mummify
Christmas
me in
is
that blanket.
moment where you feel like it's okay to just do nothing on the couch while you're watching the fire, watching a movie. Like it's like I can just relax, you know. Yep. In my mind, the world shuts down, but I know it doesn't. But in my
Polar
mind,
Express is another one.
I didn't mention that one. That's another good classic.
Yeah.
I can even. My kids are obviously getting out of the tiny cartoon days, but even like Mickey Mouse special, like the old school Charlie Brown Christmas. We do some of that. Yeah, it's good times.
You know what I like too? I like orchestras during Christmas time.
Just
like big orchestras,
big band, like
just, playing all the big songs that you kind of know. Like the Christmas specials now, they try too hard to like find a pop star from 20 years ago to pop in there. Like, come on, we're good.
Give me some Michael Bublé. No, but you ever get to New York, the New York City Rockettes, the Christmas Spectacular is one of the greatest shows, I will say. Good show. It's fun.
That'd be a good Halloween costume. The toy soldier outfit they wear. Mm-hmm. That'd be a good one.
You could be the toy soldier.
You just walk around all night like this. Like.
All right. I need to look up. I look forward to talking to Mike Johnson too this morning.
Oh, he's so funny.
And just about. It's so funny. I have some friends that are in Paris right now. Okay, of all the people, there's 11 million people. They say it's in Paris. CNN comes around.
Oh, no way.
Yes. She sent me the video. I was like, who does this happen to? Only you guys. Only y'all.
Are they going to Notre Dame to see it?
They went.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing.
Very cool.
And she was just like, camera goes like English. And I'm like, of all the people.
Anglais? No. I thought when that one says like, parlez-vous anglais? They're like, yes. I go, and then they go, no. I said, you just said no.
You just said no.
You didn't say no. You said no.
You
I was like, liar. England is right there across that channel. I know you know how to speak it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought about Cresson because I saw this thing they posted.
Let me see.
On they have a new little like.
Oh yeah. That's amazing. And it's gonna be, where is it? Is it south? Oh yeah, he could probably talk. He'll talk all about that.
Oh, I think I'm driving by that today too.
Are you?
Just to see what's left over there.
You should. So I keep hearing it, and I was like, Is anything still there?
Yeah, I know.
It's right next to my uncle's old office.
It's on the that is in the district. It's on the right side of the street. Wait.
It's not on mine because I've
in
got
mine,
yeah. It's in yours. It's right on the right side.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? But it has to be above. It's above Norfolk.
So it's between Highlands and
Perkins
on the right. Yeah, so that is right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You gonna do big stuff with your mom, like your dad? Like
So we did dad dinner Friday, and then dad's already in New Orleans for the week, so he just goes
really?
on there. Miss Andrea's daughters usually come in. It's easier for them to fly in there. So Christmas Eve, I go to Best Works. I sleep. I'm trying to put up a barn door tomorrow.
That's a big project. If you need any help, just text Shane.
So part of me is probably gonna mess it up, but just it's the effort that counts. And then so my day goes party in Bocage, mass, dinner at Mansour's, party at my friend's house till late. 'Cause his kids are adults too. Then stay there as long as I want, and then Christmas morning at my sister's because Ainsley's 3.
Oh,
so you got to be there
That's
with her.
the best.
And then Christmas Day, I don't even do anything. I wish we would do mass Christmas Day.
Yeah. We're just like family stuff too. Like Christmas Eve, we're hosting all of my husband's side.
But yeah, Bess has work tomorrow. I forget her schedule. She's off Friday. I'm doing this show, then going to pick her up. Then we're going to New Orleans to do. One of her friends is coming to town. They want to do. So she goes, let's go do Christmas bars. I'm like, what bar in Baton Rouge are Christmas bars? Besides a station. And she was like, no, we're going to New Orleans to do that. I was like, oh, my bad.
My bad.
Are we going to be able to hear him if we don't have headphones on?
Yeah, you should be able to hear him through the speaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning, sir. This is John with Dixon, McMakin, and Emily Chenevert here. Looking to have you on here shortly. All right, thank you.
Creston's going to sound like he hadn't been up ever because he got that raspy
He has a
voice.
raspy voice.
Just wake up, David? I just always sound like this.
I'm liking these Christmas jams.
Born ready. Welcome back. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and around the state, nation, world, universe, and solar system. Is the universe bigger than the solar system?
Oh, my goodness.
No, actually. But excited to have in now Mornings Without Brian Haldane with Emily Chenevert. Let's welcome in from CCA, Louisiana, Mr. David Cresson. David, good morning to you. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, Dixon. How you doing today?
Man, we're doing great, David. Wanted to bring you in and talk about just fishing and everything that's going on. But what really caught my eye over the weekend was y'all had a post that Christmas come early for the Louisiana's coast. Y'all did the deployment of our newest artificial reef, South Timbolier. I don't know, 86. I was born in 86, so made me think about that. But talk about that, David. What does that mean for our Louisiana's coast and when y'all put those projects into the water?
Well, first, Dixon, let me tell you that when you texted me and asked me if I'd come on the radio, I was certainly willing to do that and glad to be part of it. And you told me 6:30, and I thought, well, that's a little early on a Monday. But had you told me Emily was going to be with you, I wouldn't even have thought twice about it. So good morning, Emily. It's good to hear your voice.
Good morning, David.
Well. Yeah, good. Thank you for having me. We built our sixth reef of the year at South Timbolier 86. It's, we've got this program called Reef Louisiana. We've done 54 unique reefs now over the last several years. This was the sixth one we finished this year. We used this material called Super Reef. It's kind of catchy, but it's just these big concrete pyramids that are prefabricated. They're put on a ship and brought out into the middle of the Gulf, and then they're dropped down in a design that we've done before the project to try and mimic a coral reef. Really, that's what it's all about. We've lost habitat at an alarming rate across the Gulf of Mexico for a lot of reasons. Obviously we all talk about coastal erosion and the things we hear about all the time, but we lose these platforms that are across the Louisiana coast at a really alarming rate, and it's an issue because when you lose a platform like that, you're losing this incredible ecosystem, this habitat. And of course, me as an angler, I love to fish around these things, as do most of your listeners. And so it's part of our mission to go replace this lost habitat across the state, and these reefs are part of that. And so it was a really cool project. We finished it earlier this week. We did it alongside our friends at Chevron, the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, Danos, and a company called Reef Makers out of Alabama. And like I said, it was our 6th one this year and our 54th unique project in the last several years. We're really proud of it, and we're glad we can do our part to restore some of this habitat that's being lost.
Yeah, that's awesome, David. 6 in a year. So, one of the ways to get you on into the season here, just wanted to hear kind of, how did fishing go this year? Of course, everyone knows that I rip the lips all the time out there fishing, catching things. They know I'm the most city boy there is. But just curious, how was the fisheries this year around the coast of Louisiana?
We had a really good year fishing. Of course, I think you and Emily were down at our rodeo this past year, and you saw the fish that were caught by our your legislative friends from across the state. But really, that was the case all year, from the very beginning of 2024 until just this week. We saw good conditions all year long, favorable to anglers. We were able to get out on the water, and fishing's been outstanding, over the top good as it's been in quite a few years. We had some changes to some of our fishing regulations that I'm sure your listeners are all aware about, whether it's redfish, speckled trout. We've had some things happen lately with red snapper, probably our 3 favorite fish. We've changed those regulations, and I think you've seen some positive results as a result of those changes. And so between the good conditions, the favorable water levels across the state, and some smart management by the state of Louisiana, I think we've seen some excellent fishing. I wanted to shout out, by the way, one of the reefs we built earlier this year was a local boy, our friend Todd Graves, who helped us build a reef out of Grand Isle with our friends from Raising Canes. And I know you two are both friends with Todd and the good folks at Canes. Probably the most popular project we've ever done in our history. We rebuilt a reef just north of Grand Isle along with Todd and the good folks at Raising Canes. And so I wanted to give him a shout out on this local radio show to make sure that we appreciate all that he's done to help us out as well.
So that's 6 this year, 54 overall. David, do you have a plan of how many we're trying to do over the next years coming up?
Well, yes. And because of the good work of the Louisiana legislature, and let me give another shout out to the new administration at the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries is outstanding. And I know you both know the Secretary Sheehan, and the team that Jeff Landry has put in place at the department. It really has just been a sea change as far as this program and lots of programs. And through our partnership with the department on these projects, we might do as many as 10 next year.
Wow.
And again, because we've got a progressive thinking group of folks at the department who are aggressive about these projects, and because we've got partners like Shell and Chevron and Canes and all these others who make it possible for us to come up with the funding, I think we might do as many as 10, maybe more next year. We've gotten pretty good at these, and people love them. They become fish havens almost the minute we put them in the water. I'll tell you one more, Dixon. I know you're a Catholic High guy. We had a Catholic High student about 3 or 4 years ago. You might even remember his name, Jacob Meek, who passed away suddenly and tragically. But we built a reef in his honor last year after he passed. And literally 2 weeks after we put the material in the water, his family went out to visit the reef site. And just to see how it went, they dropped a line over that brand new 2-week-old reef, and caught a limit of red snapper just that shortly after we put it in the water. I think God might have been looking over that one a little bit, but also these projects just absolutely work. You put material in the water, the small organisms, they orient to this material pretty quick, and it doesn't take long for the big fish to show up. And so we're really proud of this program, proud of the work that's being done. It is not possible without the legislature helping look over it, and again, the folks at Wildlife and Fisheries. But we are going to build as many as 8 to 10 next year. We've got a plan to do 40 over the next 3.5 years. And then, by that time we'll be pushing 100 reefs, and we'll feel real good about it.
David, real quick, I know before we go, looking in this, I know this is only possible with partnerships and people that support, CCA. And how important and vital is it to you guys that people do continue to support and pay attention to what's going on within your efforts and supporting our, our state in this measure?
Yeah, great question, Emily. Thank you. Obviously I work for CCA, so I think it's super important. But, the way I look at it is if there's no CCA, the average angler, the average sportsman doesn't have a voice in the room when the decisions that happen, when the important decisions happen. You won't have a voice in the room if CCA is not strong and vibrant. So your support of CCA absolutely is critical. Over now 40 plus years we've been around in the state, and we've been an important part of some of the most important fisheries decisions ever. What we want is a healthy fishery in Louisiana. That's for anglers like the three of us, to commercial fishermen, to everybody that depends on these fisheries. It needs to be healthy. We want the shrimpers, we want the oystermen, we want all the commercial fishermen, we want the restaurants that depend on them, and of course we want all the anglers to have great success and to have an abundant fishery. CCA is in the room when the decisions are made, helping to guide those decisions for the best of the habitat and the species that depend so much on it. So, if you're interested in getting involved with CCA, you can go to ccalouisiana.com. You can call us at 225-952-9200. You can reach out to me, and we will get you involved. We're a membership organization. It's only $35 to be a member of CCA. I think you've both been to some of our events. You see the passion that happens at these things. It's a way of life in Louisiana. Angling is there are 1 million people in Louisiana, in a very small state. 1 million of us fish, and so we need to make sure that we're taking care of this this way of life, and CCA is leading the charge, and I'm proud of that.
So if they wanted to, let's say like Big Wally McMakin wanted to have a reef named after him, he can reach out to you, David, and we can get the Big Wally Reef going for next year, be part of one of those 10?
Yes, absolutely. We could. It really isn't that hard. We're doing it for some others that either passed away recently or just deserving of honors like that. And so, yes, we have named reefs after prominent folks, and we're glad to do it after Mr. Wally or whoever decides they want to do it next. But yes, it's an important part of how we do the projects.
Yeah, and I love that story. John and Tiffany Meek that did that for their son that passed. Just what a story to not think that something special is kind of over those places when they go out there and do that. And of course, next year I know I will be at the Legislative Rodeo again to just absolutely crush it. I think I caught a crab last year, which was awesome.
And my husband got most unique catch.
Ooh, what was it?
A white marlin.
A white marlin.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So it was a great time.
Emily had a nice boat to fish on that.
We did.
Hopefully
we can do that again next year. Just got to talk to the right people.
Yeah, we do. But honestly, folks, I want to thank both of y'all for being champions for not just anglers, but anglers and hunters, outdoorsmen and women across Louisiana. It's such an important part of our culture here, and we need lawmakers like both of you who understand that importance. We're lucky right now to have an administration and a legislature that really do understand that. But gosh, we've made positive changes to, like I said, snapper, redfish, trout, the Hayden issue has quieted down. I don't know that either one of you were there for the real high point of that debate, but we've seen some positive changes there. We're in a good place, and we need to keep it going. And I know under leadership like what you two provide, we'll see that for a long time to come.
We're the Sportsman Paradise now, tomorrow, and for the rest of our tenure there, David. We're going to continue to do that. He's David Cresson with CCA Louisiana. Go check him out, ccalouisiana.org. David, thanks for joining us this bright early morning. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas to both of y'all. See you soon.
Bye-bye. We'll be back after this. Mornings without Brian Haldane.
That was good.
I wanted to ask him, how much does it cost? I'll have to text him that. How much does it cost to do one? I mean, that's a lot of concrete.
I was reading about it. I mean, it's a lot. It's awesome. No, the rodeo was really great. It's great. You realize just what he's talking about, just the whole fishing it is Louisiana. I mean, it is who we are, and it's so fun.
All right, you got your Mike Johnson questions ready for old Mikey Mike?
I mean, let's see. What's our time frame we got on this one?
52-ish.
This
to
one's
59?
not super long.
Is it? Yeah. But we could do. We could take him. Could we take him through the break? Right.
I don't know if we'll. So I want to get. And he knows because obviously I haven't been here fighting for this issue. I know what this issue. Okay. So, just tell me when, if we finish early, you don't want to finish early.
We'll definitely won't finish early with him. That's what I'm saying, though. Do you want to come back to do, bring Mike through the break? This is just top stories and trending. No one cares about that. That's what I'm saying. No one.
So what's great about it? He was on the Senate floor, talking to people about.
Well, we told him we'd call him now. So how about can we set it up with him, go to the 7 o'clock break, and then come back with him? But that's a long. That'll work, right?
I don't know if we'll need that much time.
He's Mike Johnson. How about we do this with him? How about we talk first when we do the Social Security thing with him, then we come back and we talk.
Is he on the line?
Not yet.
We probably need to get him on, huh? Well, it says 52. What time do we come back?
I know we need to get John's numbers. Brian's numbers are crap.
Is it you calling or his number?
I just said they're gonna call. You're gonna call him. That was the second number.
Call him.
3181. Yeah, Mike's hilarious. Mike's fun to talk to.
I love Mike. I love Rep Mike.
Stories and trending on. People can read the paper themselves.
Breakdown.
Here.
Hello, how you doing, sir? Good morning, Mr. Johnson. Hi, doing well, sir.
Mike Johnson's awesome, man. He's great. He is so awesome. He's so good looking. That's because Facebook Live stays live. Forget about that.
That's what I do.
No, all of our conversations I always make sure. I know.
Exactly.
You should hear me on the Catholic Car Radio. It's like.
You forget that you're.
So the only thing is, going into the 7 o'clock hour, basically automatically just kicks us off.
But you'll give us that symbol, and we'll just cut him off, and then we'll come back.
So when you're doing this with that's 30. Okay, that's what I thought. I just want to make sure. Okay. And then it's like, I'm checking. Cut. Land the plane.
We just watched that movie on Netflix, the one about the guy that played Elton John and Jason Bateman on the Carry On movie. It was
yes.
A little suspenseful. I like those kind of movies. Those little kind of suspenseful ones.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to him a little bit about what the issue while we were here. Like, let's break down for those that maybe don't know WEP. Like, while were we here? What has been the fight for you?
Did you see Kathy's email response?
I didn't. What did it say? Remember, you're on here.
It was just classic Stuart Kathy. Like, yeah, without us sending that letter, it would never.
Whatever would happen. So, yeah. Parish is in my district.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. We'll set it up and then we'll bring him back. Well, who is John? This is unacceptable.
Just don't throw anything. It's fine.
Bring like something. We'll do it live. Both these TVs have do not turn off on them, and they're both off.
It's funny. Do not turn on. Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Signage.
So good.
I like it. It is good. I've enjoyed it listening. Yep.
Good morning. Welcome back. Mornings without Brian Haldane, Dixon McMakin with Emily Chenevert. And now we're so honored to have on the line Emily, Speaker Pro Tem of the Louisiana House of Representatives, Big Bad Mike Johnson.
Good morning.
There he is. Good
There
morning,
he
Mike.
is. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you so much, Speaker Pro Tem, for being on with us this morning. And we have got to dive into a huge thing that just took place in D.C., but that impacts so many people in Louisiana. And if you could, would you just break down a little bit about where we are, but really before then, for those listening in, about WEP, what just took place with the Social Security Fairness Act, Speaker Pro Tem, and just why we had to do this, right? What happened for us to be here, and then why it was so important that this were to pass.
Yeah, these bills were passed back in 1977 and 1983. The windfall elimination provision, or WEP, was passed back in Jimmy Carter's days, and its purpose was to eliminate what was perceived to be a double dipping or an extra portion that government employees who were on a pension were getting more than they should have, which was completely false. And then the more cruel of the two, which was the government pension offset, came about in about 1983, and that affected widows and spouses. And these provisions of the Social Security law were some of the most unfair laws I've ever seen, because what they basically said was, if, say, Dixon worked 20 years in a private job and then just quit or retired, and Emily, you did 20 years in a private job and then decided, I want to go be a school teacher for 20 or 30 years, Dixon would get more, even though y'all paid the exact amounts in Social Security, taken out of your check involuntarily, Dixon would get more Social Security from the federal government than you would. And it's just completely unfair. It was stealing people's money, in essence, and it was really cruel in situations where a government worker who also paid Social Security in a private position passed away. It nearly eliminates, and in some cases completely eliminates, what that person's spouse would receive. So I would get calls, and how I first became aware of this was I had a nice lady who came to my office. She had been a dispatcher for the sheriff's department and had previously been a school teacher.
Speaker Pro Tem, we're gonna cut to a quick break right now, but hang on because we're gonna continue this conversation right after.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Great.
I hate to interrupt. But
I'm too wordy.
No, you're good.
He was on school teacher.
No, you're good.
Are we off?
Yeah, we got him a little late on that one too.
Yeah.
This is when it flies by. When we start doing all the calls with people, this is when it like.
Mm-hmm. So we'll come back at 7:06. No.
Well,
I'll ask you what John says.
Yeah, when we come back, we can, if you want, you can just pick up right where you.
I will.
Yes, sir. We, yeah, I must have lost you. Yeah, we're gonna come back from break here, and we'll have you back on here shortly. No, you're fine. No.
He's doing great.
Yeah, doing great.
Doing awesome.
You got about 15 more minutes in. All right, that'll work. All right. Yes, sir. Well, look, we'll have you on here just about a few minutes. Thank you. Yeah, if you want to talk to one of them. They would have to pick up the line. Yeah, okay. That'll work. 1 second. Okay. Emily, you want to see?
Here we go.
there you go. There you go.
Oh, yeah, I just hit it. Good morning. Hello? Hello? Hey, good morning. No, you're doing great. We actually came in a little bit late. It was a hard stop. Some of our little breaks are hard stops, and I never like to interrupt. But you're doing awesome, and then we're going to come back because I wanted to start that, and then we'll kind of go into a little bit of the you being there on the Senate floor. Okay. Perfect. And so we'll pick up what we'll kind of pick up there, and then awesome. You're doing awesome, doing great. All right. Well, no, you're doing great. We want all that information because some people may not know the degree of what everything is, what it is. So we'll be back on in just a second. All right.
I think that hung him up.
Did I hang him up?
Oh, yeah, I think you did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, call him back.
What is our hard out? What's the out on this one?
So we come back. This one pretty much. We usually out by like 7:15.
Okay, so it's 7:06. We come back at 7:06 to 7:15. Okay. So he'll have a good 6-7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after that one, it'll be coming back from break. Yeah, we won't be back in a minute.
Oh, yeah. I'll be like, go pull my Social Security records, buddy. Go pull my records.
Tell him that's on me. Oh my gosh. Why am I laughing so hard? never know who's listening. I've always loved this song. I don't know why. I love it. Love it.
Welcome back, everybody. Mornings without Brian Haldane, Dixon McMakin with Emily Chenevert. Still on the line from our last segment. We're going to welcome back in Speaker Pro Tem Mike Johnson, who's given us the rundown of how we got to where we got to with the WEP finally getting canceled by Congress.
Right.
And Speaker Pro Tem, if we want to continue that conversation, so we were sharing a little bit about how we got here. So if you want to pick that up and then just talk about, when people will begin to see some of this being restored back, as pertaining to that.
Yeah, what I was saying, I first became aware of this right after I got elected 6 years ago, and had a lady come in to see me whose husband had recently passed away. She had been a school teacher for 25 years, and then or she had worked in the private sector for 25 years and was then a dispatcher for the sheriff's department. Her husband was a sheriff deputy. They worked and looked forward to retirement. He passed away suddenly, and then she found out that she wasn't going to get basically any Social Security benefits from her husband. And she wound up going back and having to be a greeter at a Walmart. And that story has been repeated 1,000 times with different people. And the system was just wrong. And so I know our House and Senate in the state legislature has each year passed a resolution calling upon Congress to remedy this. And it has been unanimous every year. Y'all have voted for these resolutions. You've been a part of this. Well, Garrett Graves has, I think, for every year he's been in Congress, sponsored legislation to eliminate these provisions of Social Security. And not a single time, even before him, for 40 years, has there ever been any vote taken on it. And he got enough co-sponsors and was able to use a rarely used provision for a discharge petition to force it to the floor. And, of course, it passed in the House overwhelmingly. And I think most all of us who were pushing and supporting the bill thought that it would die in the Senate. But surprisingly, Senator Schumer took it up, and Senator Bill Cassidy. And it came to a vote on about 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday night and passed 76-20. And it's just a tremendous relief. We have worked very hard. Several of the members of the state representatives have gone to D.C. numerous times, helped organize a nationwide group so that it wasn't 15 or 16 states. It was one large group who lobbied our senators, who lobbied our House members from all over the country. And I think it's noteworthy that Louisiana's congressional delegation voted 100% and supported 100% this change in the law. And it will do the right thing for the people who are our school teachers, our police officers, our firemen, our public work people in service jobs all across the state who have had to have other jobs or other careers. And it just does the right thing by them.
Well, it says a lot about our people in Louisiana and beyond. You mentioned our congressional delegation. And really, Congressman Garrett Graves for pushing this and fighting for this, because you mentioned the people you just said, our teachers, police officers, firefighters, people in public work, that this is money they've paid in. And so it's great to see that government working for the people in the right way. And I think
this
that's
is not a,
that's
this
what
is not
want.
a giveaway. That's the thing people need to know. This is not a giveaway.
Correct.
If you didn't do anything but a public service job, then you're not going to be part of this. But it's when you had a separate job where you actually paid Social Security in that you were being deprived. So it's approximately 100,000 families in Louisiana currently, and that number will be greater as more people retire, and it'll just have a big impact on their lives. And it also it has become an impediment to some people going into public service jobs. So this will be an incentive now, or at least it'll remove an impediment to those folks choosing to be a policeman or a teacher or a fireman. And I think it is just the right thing. It's just one of those bills, and it was bipartisan, and that's very rare that you see that coming out of Congress.
Speaker Pro Tem, I think I heard a rumor you were there in Washington.
He was on the phone, I believe.
No, I have been
to Washington. Okay,
a dozen times over the last 6 years. Been a part of this national group, but I was on Zoom and phone calls with some of the senators, their staff, all day Saturday and into Saturday night, and I just as well have been there because it was pretty wild. And there were numerous amendments made to try to kill the bill. There were some points of order that were made. And so time after time after time, we had to dodge bullets to get it to move through. And our senators from Louisiana did a great job of keeping it on track and getting it passed. And so once the president signs it, which I don't know if he has yet or not, I haven't gotten a text, but once he signs it, this bill will go into effect. You'll see the effects probably in March, maybe April, and it will be retroactive to January of 2024.
Well, we're speaking to our Speaker Pro Tem Mike Johnson in Louisiana about H.R. 82, the passing of the Social Security Fairness Act, and what you were talking about, how you were on Zoom and talking to some of the people. Were there some contention a little bit at times, Speaker Pro Tem? You saw that process a little bit. I know for people that are listening in and haven't been to D.C. and understand, like sometimes how hard it is to get something like this or to get this much bipartisan support. What was that like in being a part of this, not just on the phone, but these years, and then finally seeing it pass?
Well, it was disconcerting to see some folks who said they were for you, but you saw them doing some maneuvering behind the scenes to appear to be supportive, but to add an amendment knowing that it would send it to conference and basically, because it's the end of the session, kill the bill. It was very tense. And I think if you were watching online, and I know a lot of folks were, you really wondered if this was going to get done. And nerve-wracking all the way to the end. Sometimes we, in the legislature, we get a little frustrated because things are slow at times. This is 1,000 times more frustrating. We run a very good operation in Louisiana House of Representatives compared to what they do in Congress.
Yeah, sometimes it can be frustrating at times for sure to watch, but this is one of those moments where you see the right thing being done for the people, right? And so
and Emily, maybe what made it even more special is that this truly was a grassroots deal. We for 40 years, people had tried to get a bill to move and never got a single solitary vote, even in a committee. But we were able to take the Louisiana people, of whom y'all were part of, get our delegation on board, and then we were able, thanks to social media, connect up with groups, and you realize different groups have their own lobbying groups, whether they're firefighters or whether they're policemen or teachers, all over the nation. Because although there's only about 16 states that fully were applied, this affected every state because we've got retirees all over the country. I think they estimated 2.5 million currently. So every state had a vested interest in it, and it just was the right thing to do. This is one of those. There's some detractors that'll try to argue that it's unfair to give these public works people both a pension and Social Security, but it's just not valid. They're paying into it. They should receive it. And now, thanks to your support and the support of legislators around the country, Garrett Graves, and our U.S. Congress, the right thing is actually going to happen. And it really feels pretty good to see democracy working this way where it actually is doing the right thing.
Working for us all. Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem Mike Johnson. We wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you for the next 14 sessions we're going to have in 2025. Have a great one, sir.
Y'all. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll be back. Mornings without Brian Haldane.
That's an important segment. A lot of people. It impacts a lot of people.
I love that. When you look it up, look who's at the top.
I know. Worked so hard for that.
He filed it 1/9/23, and it got done 12/21/24.
But he was even pushing it.
Yeah, before that.
Yeah, it's a big thing that did over the weekend. So I thought we wanted to share.
So now we go to Starbucks now for the next like. What, I mean, is there even a welcome back? There's like.
And then so we're back at what time again? I'm making sure my time 7:37 or no? Is that right? Okay. And that's that. I'm going to talk to Stephanie. Which, it feels like a lifetime, huh? When you got that little Medical Monday break.
I just told Gordy Rush to come back. I was like, we got a 15-minute break. Come on.
That's a great job.
Where's the K-Cup machine in this building?
I need a cappuccino.
I texted that to Patrick Goldsmith. I was like, we need like a PJ's coffee cart in the Capitol.
Yes, we had that conversation.
He was like, oh, are you going to find the contract for it? I was like, just tell him to show up. Like, what do you mean contract?
They're going to make money.
So I'm actually going to get with Kenny Carr next year and see if we can do it as part of his. Because even though CC's pays for the coffee everywhere, I don't know if there's a rule that says Kenny Carr can't allow his own products. What are the CC's people shit? Someone on that text thread must have an Android, not how iPhones work. Oh.
That's one of the worst. Like this week, y'all, I had a hard time. One of the worst stories. It's too sad for morning news. Did y'all read about the subway?
Oh, burning thing?
Like
The lady that got burned?
after living in New York and making a subway so much, I mean, she was asleep and it lit her on fire and just watched her.
It's time for your weekly checkup. This is Medical Monday, presented by Our Lady of the Lake Health.
Yes, it is time for Medical Monday, and this week we are talking about kicking smoking. Yes, smoking cessation overall, or tobacco cessation overall at Our Lady of the Lake. And our guest today is James Truax. James, welcome aboard. How are you, man?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
No, glad to have you on here. Glad to be talking about this. I mean, the timing of the topic, obviously, quitting smoking or kicking tobacco in any way, shape, or form normally bubbles up as a top New Year's resolution. So couldn't be a more well-timed interview.
Great. I agree.
Let's start off. Tell us a little bit about the program. If a listener signs up for the program, what do they expect along the way?
Well, basically, our program is a behavior modification program. We kind of look at where the patient is, how much they're smoking, what they're smoking. They're using vapes, cigarettes, cigars, or the smokeless tobacco. And we basically just put a plan together to address their behaviors around their smoking.
All right, well, we're going to get into some of those behavioral changes in a little bit, but I want to start off with who would be eligible for this.
Well, now it's been mandated by the state that all insurance covers smoking cessation. And so anyone that has insurance is now covered for a portion of it or all of the program. It depends on each insurance.
Oh, so, wow, okay. So covering most, if not all, the costs. What kind of offset is that? Like, what would it cost otherwise without insurance?
Well, it typically can run up to $700 for the entire program, depending upon how often they're seen by a counselor. Mm-hmm. Now, that does not include the medications that we use to help, curb the cravings and things of that nature. But just the overall cost of the program could be up to $700.
We're talking with James Truax, talking a little tobacco cessation. This is Medical Monday, which is, of course, presented by the folks over at Our Lady of the Lake. Man, okay, well, $700, that's even without insurance, when you think about the long-term costs of just the product, much less the effects, $700 is reasonable at worst, unbelievable at best. All right, let's talk about Our Lady of the Lakes program and how and why it's different from others.
Well, one of the things I like about our program is the fact that we meet with the individuals every other week to up to 9 sessions on average. It's all based on insurance, and if need more, we can work through that. We meet for about 30-minute sessions, mm-hmm. and we look at what they did for their goals for in between the 2 weeks, and what we need to do to work on reaching those goals if they weren't able to reach those goals, and then look at the behavior. The behaviors are the big part of it, and what changes were they able to make or were they not able to make. It's the thing. Our program basically is we're here to meet them where they're at and kind of help pull them along.
How long does it run?
Usually right around 4 months is about the average time for most individuals.
And resources in between, the 30-minute sessions, I mean, I'm sure that's it's a great reset. It's a great place to get yourself launched off until your next session. But are there resources in between sessions that folks can lean on?
Well, one of the things, there's not a whole lot of resources to it, but we allow them to, if they just need a word of encouragement or if they have questions or concerns, they can call us at any time and talk to one of our counselors.
Very cool stuff. Yeah,
we're able to do that with them, and we also give them homework, written and reading and writing assignments that they can do to kind of help track their goals.
How important is that? Because I've not been through any kind of I've never been addicted to tobacco, but having gone through a weight loss program, there's a lot of similarities there. And when you start off with positive behaviors and self-accountability, it makes all the difference. So how important is that homework?
It's very important. And one of the biggest things that we do with them is we have them take, if they start with us and they're smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, we have them take 5 cigarettes away, right off the bat off that pack of cigarettes. So that leaves them up to 15 cigarettes to smoke a day. And if they track that, they will find that they actually, if more conscious to them what they're doing, they won't smoke 15 in a lot of cases because they're aware of the numbers that they're smoking. But with a lot of smokers, they don't have a clue when they're smoking or what. It just is a natural habit. And so before they know it, they smoked a pack of cigarettes. But if they're paying attention to it and tracking it, they're really surprised, and they say, well, I didn't smoke this one. I didn't smoke that one. So. Yeah,
awareness is half the battle right there, to be sure. We're talking with James Truax. We're talking about he's the manager of the tobacco cessation program over there at Our Lady of the Lake. I want to ask you about a couple of things. This might be a little more anecdotal. This might change from person to person or patient to patient. But what do y'all find are some of the triggers that cause relapses, the times, the things that make people want to lean back on the tobacco a little bit more?
Well, one of the big things that we see a lot is deaths in the family. That's a very stressful time. Yeah. Loss of a job can be a stressful time. Or just the job itself can be stressful, and they just can't wait to get away from it. A lot of employers now have enacted the no smoking, on campus and at the job sites and stuff like that. So they are thinking about that cigarette when they go get in that car, they head home. Or what I hear a lot is when I get on the telephone and start talking to people, I just light up a cigarette. Yeah. And so we really try to focus on what their actual triggers are and try to help change that behavior around them. Put a toothpick in your mouth, put a piece of cinnamon-flavored candy in, something of that nature to change that habit of just naturally picking up the cigarette.
Amazing stuff. And those slight behavioral changes, they become their own thing. It can actually be something very cool to see. James, you mentioned something about medication early on. How prevalent is that in the program?
It's very prevalent because we use the nicotine patches, the nicotine lozenges, nicotine gum, and there are some inhalers that can be used. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of other medications that can be used that insurance will pay for. The patches and the lozenges and the gums are the three that we use the most for most of our patients because it's the oral fixation that a lot of smokers have. So that's where the gum and the lozenges come in. And then the patch comes on where they actually wear it for 24 hours straight, and it will help provide the nicotine that the body is craving. So when they start cutting back on the cigarettes themselves or the smokeless tobacco, the body's not craving that nicotine. And so it makes it easier to make those behavioral changes.
This question might be a little bit off the wall, but I feel compelled to ask it. You mentioned vapes early on, not just cigarettes, but vapes. Is one harder to kick than the other?
I personally believe, and from what I've been seeing, is the actual cigarette is the hardest thing to kick. Really? The vapes they are just as potent. We don't know all the negative effects from them. We know some of it, but it seems that those are easier to put down than the cigarette itself, just because the smoker has been doing the cigarette for so long.
Yeah, it's got it age-wise. It's got
right, yes.
The cigarette's got seniority, as it were, and I'm sure it would break down based off of the individual patient, the longevity for their own use from patient to patient.
Yes, sir.
Got to ask you, batting average, man. What's y'all's percentage? What are your outcomes?
What I like to say is if a patient completes our program, they have around a 45 to 65% average of quitting and staying quit. We don't just look at wanting to quit. We look at maintaining that quit. My background's in addiction, and so for me, I want to reach that goal to where I can sustain the smoke-free, not just go a month and pick it back up or 2 months. So it's really hard to say exactly what the outcome is because it changes with each individual. But for the ones that complete the program, there's a pretty good success rate, and they're maintaining the non-smoking.
Okay. And for those that don't, is there any penalty for trying again? I can't imagine insurance would pay for it twice. But like if say they tried 2 years ago, if they wanted to come back in 2025 and give it another go.
Most definitely. Most insurances here now, they have to provide it, and it's up to 2 different sessions per calendar year.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So insurance will cover it when you go. Right. Insurance will cover the second time.
Yes, sir. And most insurances, that's what we're seeing, that will cover it. Yes.
That's amazing. Hey, we got about 2 minutes left with James Truax, who runs the tobacco cessation program over there at Our Lady of the Lake. Give me a story along the way, James. Tell me a story about somebody who crossed that finish line, was able to kick the tobacco addiction, and it was like from the day they walked in, you knew they were going to be a special story.
Well, the one I like to share is I had an 82-year-old female come in perfect health, no health conditions, very little medications, and I asked her, I just had to ask. I said, "What brings you in today? I know you've been smoking since you were in your 20s, and you're 82 years old. What is the reason why you want to quit smoking? I'm glad you're here, but I'm a little baffled. Most people come in because of medical problems or things of that nature." And she simply looked at me with the straightest face as she said, "My granddaughter, who is 6 years old, said I stink and don't hug me."
Wow. Oh, that is awesome.
It took her a little over 4 weeks, and she was smoke-free.
Oh, that's so fantastic. Where can folks go if they want to learn more about the program?
They can reach out, or they can look at our website at Our Lady Lake Regional Medical Center. Our website there has our information, or they can call directly to our front desk at 225-757-2455, and we will get them set up and get their insurance verified and get them rolling.
He is James Truax. We've been talking tobacco cessation this morning. James, I appreciate a couple minutes this morning. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too.
Okay, great stuff there from Brian Haldane. Of course, that was taped because he's not here this morning because it's Brian without Mornings without Brian Haldane with Dixon McMakin, Emily Chenevert. Right. Next time for the OLOL Medical Minute, we're going to have, of course, Ryan Cross come on.
Yes, we are.
Wake him up to come up here in the morning. Not that he has anything else to do right now, but great information always for the Medical Monday from Our Lady of the Lake as well. Coming up, Emily, we got 4 more guests to go this morning. Pretty excited about that.
We do. We're going to be covering some good information. A couple colleagues on, talking about some things going on in the legislature, what's up ahead in the spring. So excited about that.
Stick around. We'll be back. Mornings without Brian Haldane.
Stephanie said that she said a short segment's good because she was like, we're just doing some, we'll do 4 or 5 minutes. If that's what it is. All right. You're doing, let's see, I'm going to do.
I meant to tell Cresson when he said that about you, but yeah, Cresson, everyone said that. No, Dixon, you? I'm with Emily Chenevert.
They love Dixon.
I'll be there. That's it.
They love Dixon. I love it. Shane loves to. He's like, he's got the best voice. The best voice. So fun. I was like, this is true. But calling that game was fun, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ransom.
I bet calling that game was fun though, huh?
Which one?
Basketball. Was the basketball game that they killed it like? Yes. I need to send this on our freshman text. You want to get in the picture? All right, cool.
So I'm going to do my open mouth thing.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so then the 7th grade Mercy Kids team played at halftime, and they sent me a roster.
Oh.
I was like kind of doing live announcing like for them, but not really because
Yeah.
they were, just little kids. So people said that was pretty fun too.
That's cool.
Like Romero passes it over to Ragus. Still with the basketball.
It'd be like calling my son's little games. It's quite interesting.
We could always fill in on Friday if we need to. Larry or Brock could come on and talk about their Senate races. That's fill the.
That's true.
We can hear from Kate on the governor.
what people need to see when they wake up in the morning, you know? I think. My husband is the biggest morning person. He's like up and rocking and rolling at like 4:45, 5, coffee going. He's like, what time are we getting up tomorrow? You got to get up early, 4:30.
This was me doing it, but it was a video we took instead. I was like, the whole time my mouth was sitting.
Do we get him yet? Are we back in? What you want to do?
Okay. Ready. Good morning, Baton Rouge. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Without Brian Haldane, Dixon McMakin, joined by Emily Chenevert. Of course,
Morning.
supposed to have a little friend on right now, but he's not answering his phone, so maybe he'll call in during the segment. But Emily, one thing I wanted to talk to you about, if we had a moment like this, was freshman reps that we are.
Yes.
We had the first year.
We did.
74 official days we were there. 5 technical sessions. First time since 1994.
Really? I didn't
I think
realize that.
the biggest 2 questions I've gotten now that we're all done, at least I don't think we're going to have a session the next 8 days, was what was the thing that surprised you the most? And then what do you think was your greatest accomplishment at that building year 1?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a weighty question.
All right, surprised you the most and biggest accomplishment. I'll
Okay.
go first on the surprise.
Go first on the
Give you
surprise.
some filler
Okay.
there of what I always tell people. I am surprised at how when people talk actually in chamber at the well or when they're asking questions, how a lot of that is for show. I really thought more of those questions that was more of the time for debate and all that. But if you're doing it right on both sides, you've already done your homework. You almost should know when you go to sit down in that chair, you should know where you are. And a lot of that was for show. That surprised me a lot, was kind of the time wasted in the chamber room when people are talking on the mics or down at the well that, kind of, not going to say it upset me, but people would talk and then immediately that would go be on social media or be a post or something like that. It's not truly there for the debate of it. But if you're doing your work, if you're in the committee, if a bill goes to your committee, of course, your questions should be answered at that point. You should have them all out and know what's going on. If you're not there, hopefully you have the bill list to know what's coming up that day. You should be able to see that and go do some research. But obviously some people may not do the research and the readings maybe as dorkily as I do a lot of times. But that was my biggest surprise, I think, being down there and feeling that was where the Coliseum of debate was, right in the chamber. And it was more like no.
That's a really good point. I will say that so much of it is in committee. And so actually going into that being, I say, a part of the process of just attending hearings, watching online, also kind of geek out and actually reading everything and paying attention. So you're right. You see how you really know where your bill sits. I do think maybe sometimes for some people you want to, they want the district, want their people to know like how they feel about some things. So maybe that, because people aren't paying attention to committee as much. But I do agree with you on that. They want people to know, hey, this is really where I stand on some of that. I would say I actually get that question a lot too about what surprised you the most. And I'll be honest, I feel like there is such a difference sometimes in what we see in media from a federal level to state level. And so you assume that sometimes the back and forth is very contentious of what we think it's like in D.C. And I feel like state's a little different. Obviously, we haven't been to D.C. yet, not in it. But I feel like there's a lot of people that you disagree sometimes on policy. You disagree a lot. But you can still sit down and have a conversation. You're talking about family. You genuinely care about what's going on in your life as colleagues. And so I do think that was interesting for me, is that everyone does not hate one another. And that was encouraging. But, I mean, there's still some hard moments in conversation. So that is one thing I would say that kind of surprised me a little bit, is that people can get along.
And then biggest accomplishment of year one for State Rep Emily Chenevert, District 66.
There's a couple. I mean, look, I think the biggest thing that stands out off the cuff without having to sit through it a lot was pushing heavily for insurance reform. It's one thing I hear a lot in my district. And so and constantly being in that conversation, carrying a bill, third-party litigation, but also working with the Senate side, adjusting another bill that came across, whatever, meet in the middle in the conference committee. That was a big thing. I think also just working through the process of working with colleagues of, there's so much we did. I think that's what we did. We had a crime session. We had, obviously, our regular session, our tax session, which was bringing income tax down, all that. So I feel like there's a lot, but as one of my bills, I think I cared a lot about, because I was really into the nitty gritty of like, how do we help with insurance reform? And I care a lot about that, as many colleagues do, across our freshman class. But what about you? What's something that you
so I got one dumb one and one good one. First, the dumb one is I'm going to say 99.99% the governor knows my name.
I like that.
So that one I was like, how long will it take the governor to learn your name? Now, of course, he did veto a bill of mine, and I was like, pretty sure that capped it off. But we were in a meeting.
Maybe that's why he knows your name.
We were in a meeting before one of the bill signings, and he walks through the door, and I'll never forget, Dixon, Dixon, Dixon. I'm like, well, that was 3 of them, so I'm pretty.
He knows my name.
But there's always a chance that the Chief Ruckert, might have warned him that I was sitting there. I never know with the chief. Of course, a great 68 residents. That's my dumb one.
That's your dumb
one. And
then
the good one is, I would say, we pass bills that people will bring to you a bill like, hey, will you help author this for me? Or your bill might be truly just your brain, your issue, what you want. And so being the past few years, being a Greek advisor at LSU, we upped the standard now that it takes for our students to be punished by their universities when it comes to some really petty things. And so that one is one that I was really proud of, that I had experienced that, I would say, myself as a student, and then representing the students. And so that one came, truly from my experience, from my brain, got it out there, did the whole process of, you have to email in and, hey, I need someone to help draft this for me. And then I need to go to the committee. And then it was not a committee I sat on.
Yeah.
So when you don't know the relations of the colleagues that you're sitting with on the committee, had to go to
you have to work those and try to get the votes and get it through.
When you're not sitting on the committee, you don't.
Right.
Most committees talk and meet regularly. When you're not on the committee, you don't see those colleagues as much during that time. So that one's the serious one. So now that kind of gives you an idea going forward. Hey, if it's a bill, you're running just truly yourself, right? You're not going to get the help from a lobbying group or a state agency or an office or whatever that might be.
It's a personal experience or something that's happened that you feel like needs to change. And I do. That's very important, because I think it does. Those are like the passion bills, too, that come out of like an issue, right, that you see that needs to be fixed in our state. So I like that.
That was it.
That was good.
What you got?
No, I do think that looking back, too, is that we have built some great relationships. I do think getting out the gate, there's so much that happened the first year. I know it's end of the year. We've kind of talked so much about the tax session and a lot there, but I do feel like working through hard things, we've built some good, I say freshman class, although I don't know if we're still freshmen because we've had so many sessions.
You're a 1L in law school till your whole term is up.
Till the whole term is up. So, I mean, but I say we always feel like we've been here a little longer because we've had so many sessions, but it's been worth it. And I think that's one thing that, in talking to colleagues, is that I think that people, you wonder if you've been, at the Capitol a lot, people go back to their districts. Are they exhausted? Are they, gosh, I don't know. There was so much energy still up until even our last session because they really want to see change. And I think that's what I really was encouraged with, is that they're spending time away from their business, away from their families, away from this, and they really want to see change. And sometimes some of that can get lost. The person as a legislator can get lost sometimes in the story and media, and that you see these people that are there, our friends, colleagues, that sometimes tears in their eyes because they really want big change. And I remember witnessing that at some of our meetings. And so it gives me hope, right, for my kids in the state. It makes me feel like there's people there that want to do good things.
And people would ask me, hey, they might call another session this year. What do you think? Would you go in? I was like, I know there's a freshman class that's like, let's roll.
Let's roll.
You call us to come back, we're coming.
We're there. And look, even those that have served before us in other terms, like they're also eager. They've been there a long time, right, to see change and to see things happen. So for us, looking into their leadership as well and seeing them as that leader of kind of above us for those many years has been really, it's made a big impact for me. So I think it's been a good year, and a nice little break, but we'll see. We may not have a long break until another.
Well, we got at least 8 days. We ain't coming back. There's no doubt about that. Then of course coming back, you got in January,
Mardi Gras
there, Super Bowl's there.
Right.
There's some things that might kind of get in the way of
maybe some speed bumps in case we went.
Yeah,
I like to call them maybe. So we'll see. But I just but people do it for their constituents. Many listening, So that's why we're there.
And then it's neat too. Right now, Speaker DeVilliers is doing his district tours. I've been seeing him go around. Has he come and done a tour of District 66 yet?
I think we'll be doing that soon.
Okay.
And maybe even the Greater Baton Rouge delegation. We'll see. But I mean, I know that's something that he's doing. And I think that's incredible for people to know that their Speaker of the House for the state is going around. He's not just focused on his area. I mean, he's covering the state, and he wants to see everyone thrive. So I think that's awesome to see people talk about what that's been for their area and how much it's meant to them.
I think I'm going to start him on Highland Road, and then we're going to try to get across the river, and then we're going to make the trip back. And that's going to take up the 4-hour time slot that I have allotted with him.
Yeah.
And just show him why I call it the Concrete Caucus.
That's right.
And why we just need to keep improving everything that we can.
I think all of our constituents in both of our districts would be happy about that, right? We just say, look, we're focused on getting concrete and get interstate dealt with. All those things.
And we're going to do a food tour, District 68, of course, the best food district in the state. Like that, just fatten them up a little bit, before we come back. But that's been neat too, right? I'd never met Philip DeVilliers before this year. I'd never met
me either.
Governor Landry before this, literally before 2024. Never met him, never anything. Now you text them, you call them, and what a great resource they are for freshmen like us going forward. Freshmen, or at least 1Ls. I don't know what we're going to call it.
Right, was those. But I mean, and they're there to do that, and they're there to help, and that's what they have been, like this open door policy. That's what I want people to know as well, is that you've got leaders that are above us that are really wanting to work together. And so to come in our first year to know that, hey, we want to have these face-to-face conversations. It's not just, hey, from leading from a distance. It's in the office. It's having the heart.
So year one's complete. One more minute for this segment. What are you most looking forward to legislatively 2025, year two of your freshman year?
I am working through some legislation now. I know we have a fiscal session.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of energy there. We're going to be talking a little bit about in an upcoming segment with Representative Barral, a little bit about some fiscal things, looking at efficiencies. And so that'll be interesting as a legislator to vote on some of that and work with colleagues. Carrying some legislation to look at our city of St. George area and what maybe starting that conversation on the school system and what that looks like. And so, there's a lot to discuss there, obviously, but moving along. So,
and I know Brian will have us back on whenever we get into the full deal on those. Of course, we only get 5 non-fiscal bills, fiscal bills, and unlimited resolutions and all that. When we come back, our colleague Stephanie Baralt will join us. Louisiana Doge Mornings without Brian Haldane.
Good deal.
Whenever I said nothing about the surprise, I was like, you know who you are.
I do love it.
Beth
Dixon.
Beth Billy, will you be accepting callers?
We should.
I don't even know if we could get anybody to call in. Have you ever done that, John? a live call-in
Is
show?
Stephanie-
Like, has Brian ever done a live, like...
Is it? It's a little...
Like a caller just calling in, getting on the air. Like, normally I'll screen them, I'll get them on. But normally it's like crazy people. Normally if they're calling, it's normally to say something negative.
It's a challenge. Is Stephanie on? Did she call? Stephanie Baralt? Isn't she our, let me see, 55? Shane's like our biggest, look, he's our biggest fan.
Best is still sleeping.
Look, it's his Bible study chat. A few doctors and different people. Look. There. Sweet, sweet. Fun times, fun times. You know, if your family can't support you, right? Your spouse,
Oh, no doubt.
Your spouse
you
is
learned
your
that during the campaign, huh?
Shout out to our spouses and all they do. Okay, let me get her to call.
Andy commented, wants to know if you still have plans to get DOTD to install a J-turn or roundabout at Piku Lane at Jamestown Boulevard.
Look, when you look at that project number, let me see.
Studio.
That would be Stephanie.
Yes.
Great deal. I need to text my
Is that a comment? Can I comment back, or you can comment back, or like, where's it? That's on the.
you commented on the Facebook page?
Berault, Berault. Berault. How do the lakes at Jamestown once? Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. You know, I think technically that's Emily Chenevert's.
Right, let me see.
I think that's our border.
Where
What
is
she's
it?
saying is, so right here is Piku, and Piku gets done. Okay, that new exit right there. Saying you can't get out of the back of the neighborhood and go left.
That's Barbara.
Because that's where she loops up at.
Because let me see, where's Highland? Let me see. I'm looking at
Down here.
Yeah, so my side is here, right? On this side, that side of Highland is her. But yeah, we can get the answer. She's talking about right here, the roundabout.
Yeah, right here. Because what the thought is, like, to take a left here, because there's so many cars that come that way that you never really can take the left.
Is that a project number right now?
But the J turn would already be there. Maybe you could come here with J if you want.
I really feel like for our caucus, we could focus on nothing but traffic and people would be completely content in that. When is
Did I hear Washington Street? I'm going to be doing what I did again last year. I'm just going to be doing 3 more resolutions to hold them.
I need to get into.
Welcome back. Good morning. Morning without Brian Haldane, Dick McMakin, and Emily Chenevert. Now coming up in this segment, you've heard of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy with Doge for Donald Trump. Jeff Landry also has kind of put together a Doge group. And joining us now on the line, State Rep Stephanie Baralt, Miss Doge of Louisiana.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Merry Christmas, guys.
Super low, John. Can we touch?
So we can hear.
Steph, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
There we go. Rep Baralt, excuse me.
Yes, we have you. Good morning.
Good morning. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning in the busy week of Christmas. But we are with Rep Baralt. She's representative in District 76 in the St. Tammany Parish area. And you were now going to be slated to be a part of Governor Landry's executive order he announced about creating the Fiscal Responsibility Program. And tell me about that. Like, what are you excited about that? And what do you hope to do, Rep Baralt, with that and being a part of that?
Sure. I'm excited to talk about this. We have not met as a group yet, so I'll preface with all opinions are my own. We have not had any conversations. I'm assuming we'll start that right after the first of the year. But, yeah, it's a new day. It really is. It feels like that's definitely the case at the federal level, and I'm excited that we're going to be doing a lot of the same things here in Louisiana. It's a little different in that we have to balance our budget every year, so it hasn't gotten quite as out of hand as at the federal level, but there is certainly a lot we can do in Louisiana. The executive order says that they want us to be more efficient, modern, and accountable. And I think that's exactly our mission statement of what we need to be doing. There's a lot of ways we can do that. I serve on the Appropriations Committee, which I'm very honored to be asked to serve and do this. I'm sure it's because of the work that I've been doing on the Appropriations Committee. And we just went through an exercise when we were looking at the fiscal cliff, the shortfall that we were expecting, where you go through and all the agencies come in to committee and they talk about what a 1, 2, 3, or 5% budget cut would look like for them. But a lot of times that's not where you get the real answers. A lot of times that's just kind of something to say to make it sound like, oh, the world's going to end. But I think we all know the world's not going to end if we cut government spending. And I'm real excited to do that and look at the ways we do it without cutting, not just for the sake of cutting, but cutting to be more efficient and to provide better service. One of the things that I'm hoping we do first is to look at technology. You know, we all had a conversation during the tax session about how outdated the technology is that the bill drafters are. And it would take an unusual amount of time to make changes to bills just because the technology that they are working on is so incredibly outdated. And I think that goes across every agency that I've had a conversation with, that the technology that they are using is incredibly inefficient and it's slowing us down, and we can absolutely do better. I mean, this is 2024, it's almost 2025. We should not be working on technology from the 1990s. And in a lot of cases we are. And that's just it's not acceptable.
Rep Baralt, we're really excited. Would you mind sticking around with us for a little bit as we take our hard break at 8 o'clock and we can delve more into the Louisiana Doge with you? Is that okay?
You bet. Absolutely.
Awesome. When we come back after this break, we'll continue on with Stephanie Baralt and the version of Louisiana Doge after this.
I mean, I want to hear more. Did we lose her? I'm going to tell her to call back. So we're going to just skip through this time in history. Not history. We'll just get. We're moving into that segment, correct? Since we're taking, and we're going to use her. We're keep doing her interview, basically. Yeah. I feel like.
Yeah, let's just keep her going with her. Hers is good stuff.
What time will we be back in? What is it? It's 8:02 right now, so we'll come back in.
I'd rather do this day in history, like to close out the show.
Yeah, that's fine. And then hers will be to 8:12, or is it 8:11?
Yeah, Haldane's got the sheet up. I don't know what numbers he's giving us. Trying to sabotage our show without him.
I'll go by the old time and give him like 2 minutes. He's like, so.
I'll just look at your fingers.
Do you follow? You need these. Talking of Department of Government Efficiency, the federal Twitter account of Doge.
Yeah. We had set up a thing with Jeff. He was going to do a governor thing for me for a paperless group. I'm still going to try to get him to do it as part of this Doge group now, though.
And just put the things that we spend money on. It would be. I think it'd be very informative. This is funny to me. Have you read the recent one? This one?
Really?
Why are we doing that?
See, they do more of that stuff. We don't do a lot of the grants and things. We don't have.
No, but
we have some of the NGO stuff. That'll be. That's a resolution I'm bringing this year.
What are you doing? Because I wanted. I was talking to someone about this the other day. But you are bringing one. Okay.
Just to where it definitely cannot cover salaries anymore, and what they have to report to us to get the money is much higher. So you have to I want your 990s.
I like it.
I want to know what version of a C you are. So nonprofit just means 501c, but what version are you? It's like if you're
C4, C3.
C3, the idea is you're tax deductible. Go raise the money. I want to have you. How much have you gotten in the past? Make them report that to us. So it's just going to be very strenuous. It's not a lot we give to them, but I've just never been a fan of that ever. The city does it terribly much. They need to stop that too. The city.
Yeah. Do you have any?
Breck, I'm doing one for Breck. We control.
No, I'm joking. I'm making a joke.
He'll be bored.
I know.
Because we decide who the commissioners are.
Right.
And how we decide everything. We could literally put in there, the commissioners are now going to be appointed by the state reps.
Nathan Russ is all that. Nathan Russ, or my school board
member.
He's
board appointee.
That's right. Vote. No, I know. We talk about it.
So the current draft of the bill is going to be that each city gets one. So each city gets an appointee, and then I haven't decided who the other people are yet.
Yeah, I need to focus on legislation and all that. I want to do something though similar like that.
Breck's a local one.
Yes.
So it doesn't count against me.
Is it it's a good one for battery delegation.
No shot.
I know, but me.
Yeah, am I live? Yeah, I'm live. Okay, Mornings Without Brian Haldane. Odd to hold the mayo there. We're still talking to State Rep Stephanie Baralt about the governor's new proclamation, the Louisiana Doge. as we're going to call it.
That's what we call it. That's right.
Stephanie is still with us there, my dear.
I am. Can you hear me?
Rep Brault, you still there?
Can you hear me? Good morning.
Well, if we'll probably get her. I know she's probably calling back in.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we hear you now. Sorry about that.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Yeah, we'll just pick this up. I know. So we're with Representative Brault. She is in District 66, St. Tammany area, St. Tammany Parish, and talking about the governor's announcement about the fiscal responsibility program, and so about monitoring state spending. And I love it, just making sure that our government operates in an efficient and effective manner. So, Rep Brault, you were talking a little bit about some of your work also on appropriations. Can you kind of break that in and why you feel like maybe that you're really a good fit for this because you are on appropriations and you're seeing kind of what's going on within the spending in the state?
Well, I think probably one of the reasons I was asked is because I was the one that was asking, you ask too many questions and suddenly you get a little responsibility. And I have been asking a lot of questions. And I will tell you one of the things that I have just done recently was go with a group from Louisiana to Utah for a very exciting trip to see how they are providing services. And they've been doing this since the 90s up in Utah, and it's the way they provide their safety net services. But they've consolidated a lot of that down. And so I was calling it one door. I think they call them one-stop shops. And so when someone needs services from the government, food stamps, Medicaid, housing, whatever it is that they need, that they are qualified to receive, they go to one place. And it's much more efficient in that it's saving money because everything's kind of housed together, but more importantly, it's more efficient for the people who need the services. And the way they do it, it's managed through their workforce office. And so when someone walks in, the way they look at this is, what are the barriers that are preventing you from being active in the workforce? And we know that there's some people in Louisiana, because of a disability or for whatever reason, that we're just going to need to help, and we need to protect our programs to be able to do that. But there are also people in Louisiana that could be at work, but we have created a system that they feel locked in because it's the only way they get their benefit. And they spend all their time going from one office to the next, trying to figure out how it all works, as opposed to being able to walk into one office and have one person that is going to manage their case, that is going to follow up with them, that is going to help get them what they need in a more efficient way, but more importantly, to have those conversations with them on how do we get you past where you are now. And I think that is an incredibly important conversation for us for a lot of reasons. Number one, to just more efficiently stop wasting money having, in some cities, we've got one office for workforce, and then 2 blocks away, we've got another office, and then 2 blocks away, we've got another office. We need to consolidate all of that to begin with, but also to better serve the people of Louisiana, because what we're doing now is clearly not working. And then also we need to be able to get the workforce ready. You and I, all of us were there. We just passed a huge tax package that I am very hopeful is going to start bringing people to Louisiana, businesses to Louisiana. We need to get ready. We need to get our infrastructure in place. We need to get our workforce in place. We need to get all these things in place to get ready, because they're coming.
Well, I love what you said, and honestly, it's about being efficient. And I think that's one thing, is that you want to make sure that everything that we do and every dollar spent of the taxpayers is done in a way that is efficient. I know I always tell people, we talk about, as parents, as people who run companies and jobs, is that we're always looking at how are things running in a business and a household. And I think that's a mindset that needs to obviously go into government. I know at the federal level, DOGE is the big discussion right now. And so it's awesome to see our governor that's taking the lead on this, people like yourself, other people that have been appointed to this, to have that conversation. And look, the workforce development piece is huge. And I think that's one thing that I think can really drastically change, I think, Louisiana. I mean, would you agree, Dixon? I feel like it could really help a lot with the whole workforce piece.
Yeah, Rep Brault, of course, Louisiana is open for business is kind of one of our new mottos that we're throwing out there right now. But when you get businesses coming in here, you want to make sure that the red tape is cut wherever it can be for them to be getting here to get to work as quickly as possible. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And kind of back to what Emily just said, I know a lot of people come from a business background. I come from a nonprofit background where every dollar is precious. And that is a dollar that was given to us, and we need to do the best that we can with it. And I have that same mindset about state government. The taxpayers have given us this money, not really by their choice, but we've got it, and we need to be the most efficient that we can possibly be with it, both in how much we're spending, but in how we're spending it. And just when you read through the executive order, I think that's kind of where the governor is too. Cut waste where we can, but how do we provide service better? How do we better serve the people of Louisiana and the people who we are hoping to attract to Louisiana? And one of the things too that I don't know has really been talked about, this committee says that he wants us to report annually starting in 2025, but this is going to be an ongoing. I don't think this is going to be a one and done. We come in, here's the report and move on. I get the impression from the way he's worded this that he wants this to be a long, continuing conversation. And another really important part of this is that he is welcoming input from all the citizens of Louisiana, people who work with the government, who work in the government. And I don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet because we haven't, like I said, gotten together. But if you see something that is being done inefficiently, we want to hear about it. We want to be able to look into all of these things because we're not going to know everything, but the people of Louisiana see the inefficiencies. I was having a conversation just yesterday with a civil engineer who said, it used to be that when we had the funding and the design that had been signed off on a project, we could get it signed off on by DOTD within a couple months. Now it's taking 3 years.
Wow.
That is not okay. We have to figure out what is the roadblock and how do we get that out of the way because obviously you guys from Baton Rouge, you know about these road projects. We need to figure out a way to do it better.
And, of course, too, Rep. Peralt here from St. Tammany, District 74, 76.
76.
Joining us right now. I think another side of that, too, is accountability of, who is the person or the group that's holding us back? That's something I always ask people when they use, we need to get it approved by this department. I'd always ask them, well, who? Who's the who in the department? Or, this person. I was like, well, who's that person? What's their email? What's their phone number? Because at the end of the day, there's still a person somewhere that sometimes is just lazy. We need to poke them in the butt a little bit and get them rolling, huh?
Sometimes that's it. And sometimes I think, honestly, that there's good intentions that aren't practical. Someone believes that their job is to get into so much of the detail. Honestly, I don't, and this is just, I'm not a transportation DOTD expert, but if a local engineer that is qualified has signed off on it, why does the state agency now have to completely redesign the project? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, if it's been signed off on by a qualified person, just make sure it meets all the criteria and move on. It's not the responsibility of the state agency to go back and rework the whole project for every project in the state of Louisiana. So those are things we'll be looking at. I'm hopeful and sure.
Be looking at them all. We're excited that you're on there. I know now if anything's inefficient or ineffective, needs some accountability, I just call you and email you, and you go fix it for me in year one. That's what I heard. I'm so thankful.
You bet. Let's go.
That's right. Well, look, Rep. Peralt, thank you so much for being a part. And this is a very important program. We're glad you're there, along with the other senators and reps that are there. And just thank you so much. Merry Christmas. And just thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, guys.
We'll be back after this. Mornings without Brian Haldane.
Good segment like that. It's good. It's a great program. Right?
Can't wait till they set their email up or their website up. Like that Jim Carrey scene when he's typing all this stuff. If you had on your bingo card, poked him in the butt this morning. Wasn't I meant to say prod. Who we got next? Carver. All right, here we go.
It's fun to have a show you might be your friends. They're good. They have great. They just happen to have so much great information that you want people to know about. In the district and the state. All right. I sent him. So we'll come back on it. What is it? Is this one shorter? The next one?
This is a longer one.
Okay. And we'll come back at, let's see. Oh, you just fly through, huh? This last hour is like really the whole show.
These feel quicker than when I did Moscona's show.
They feel faster?
Yeah, I don't know why. But I guess when you're doing sports, because I guess you already know the sports stuff in your head maybe a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I had him down for the 8:15.
Yep.
But really it's
whatever this next one is.
And it will go until what time you said this next one? Okay. You good to go? Tanned. Rested.
We sit next to each other in commerce. We have so much fun.
He's so fun.
Mike Johnson said the same thing.
I feel like we got the St. Tammany show on this morning. I didn't realize it. He's District 89.
I was telling some staff members that the other day. I was like, I didn't mean to just always promote my district number. Just kind of.
I love it. You have great food in your district. Let's just be honest.
Amy Freeman debates me, and she has Uptown New Orleans, and then who has the French Quarter? Hughes, maybe I think. So they debate me too.
Because the other night we almost came to do Zeppelin pizza, whatever. My son was like, "Mom, what's that?" I was like, "Y'all haven't been because it's across town. You need to go."
Bars Pizza too, down next to Ivar's over there.
That's good.
I like it a little more. It's a little thicker of a pizza.
We need to try it. We should bring in something on Friday.
Between how successful those two are, I bet y'all will get something like that at some point. Like that.
I wish London has something like that.
Fast cash. You can take any old building. Red Zeppelin used to be a Blockbuster.
It did.
And it was a car dealership. And then Bars Pizza used to be a gas station. It really gives you a chance to find an old.
To find something.
Welcome back. Good morning, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and the North Shore now as we welcome in another North Shore state representative, the very good-looking, dashingly handsome man, Rep. Kim Carver from District 89. Good morning, Rep. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great now after all of that flattery.
Well, we are glad you're with us, Rep. Carver. It's always fun to talk about, just to have conversations, but to talk about, I know what you're passionate about. And number one, Merry Christmas, because you have a great fam. Are y'all ready for Christmas? Shopping done, all the things?
Remarkably, we are. I think today we'll have maybe one or two small errands for very last-minute things, but we were somehow ahead of the game this year, and that feels a lot better, Emily, than when we're last-minute scrambling, running all over town trying to be finished.
That's right. That's right. Well, look, we appreciate you being on, and this morning wanted to kind of just touch in a little bit on some of the things that you focus on while you serve in the legislature, and one of those things is obviously within education. I know you're very passionate about some of that, but really also as it pertains to tech and children and all of that, and really just wanted to kind of touch base a little bit on kind of what's maybe coming up. What are some things that you're looking into, some things, in the future? I know recently I had a chance to meet with some people in D.C. and some things came up about that. Your name came up too, and having great conversations. So share a little bit about just what's going on sometimes with, parents and tech and protecting our kids.
Absolutely. I appreciate you teeing it up that way. But and before I do, I didn't offer Merry Christmas to you and to Dixon as well. And also just want to say how brave Brian is to let y'all at the helm while he's gone. But I had a chance to listen in a little bit this morning, and y'all are doing a fantastic job.
Appreciate it.
As the two of you know, I'm the dad of three basically teenage daughters. I have a 12, 13, and 14-year-old, and that just that experience has opened up a whole new world that as we were preparing for parenting and parenting them when they were younger children, a world and a universe that I just wasn't prepared for as a parent, which is to have access to social media and the internet in their hands at all times. And I had some brilliant young people who are involved in a program at the Capitol called WILAC, the Youth Legislative Advisory Council, bring to me back in the last session an idea of how can we in Louisiana protect children's privacy and their data from social media companies. And so we ran a bill that was very successful. It passed the House unanimously. It passed the Senate and was signed by the governor. I'm really proud of it. But it basically says kids' data cannot be used for the purposes of targeted advertising by social media companies. And so your listeners know this. The two of you know this. I know this. You know, we hold these phones in our hands and we look up an hour and a half, 2 hours later, and we say, what has happened to our time? A lot of the algorithms and the information that's put before us is highly addictive. And it causes you to continue to scroll and to click, and the more you scroll and click and hover over things, the more the social media companies know about your preferences. And the more they know about your preferences, the more tailored content they can serve to you. And the more tailored content they serve to you, the more likely you are to hover, scroll, or click, and it's just this cycle over and over. And those things are fine for me and for you and for Dixon and for your adult listeners. But when it comes to our kids, it's very dangerous because in our country we have a mental health crisis that is underway. And when you look at some of the data that is out there, there's been a tremendous spike in cyberbullying, in isolation, in anxiety, in depression, and unfortunately in suicide in our country and other Western industrialized countries from 2010 on. A drastic increase, a drastic spike that I believe is directly related to social media.
Yes, and we were having this conversation actually last night with a sister-in-law and some family about the impact of this on our own kids, nieces and nephews, and it's something that it's always a discussion. I know for probably many parents listening of how do we navigate that. And I think for us as legislators and people that are looking at drafting legislation, Rep. Carver, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. We have a few more minutes. Is just, where is that fine line of how do we protect the privacy of our children, yet still empowering parents? We don't want government telling parents what to do, right, at all. We want parents to be the voice into that. That was some discussions I had with some great organizations in D.C., and I know it's a very passion point for you. How do we draft things that that meet those standards? And but I'd love to hear you speak a little bit of that. I know some other states are passing legislation. There's some, they're thinking about passing legislation across the country that is similar, that will be able to empower parents while still protecting our kids. But would love your thoughts on that in these next couple minutes.
Yeah, no, you bring up a wonderful point, and it's one that I have struggled with too as a limited small government conservative. The last thing we want to do is expand the role of government into personal responsibility and into parental responsibility. And I guess what I would say about that is the more I read, the more research that I do on it is it is very difficult for parents to understand what we have allowed to happen when we put these phones in our kids' hands with no guardrails whatsoever. And that big tech and social media companies and app stores all have a responsibility in the ecosystem when kids are being targeted. And I say that directly, when kids are absolutely being targeted by OnlyFans producers, child predators, gratuitous violence and sex. These are high, incredibly dangerous. I'm at a loss for words. These are dangerous circumstances for young kids to have with no guardrails. Yeah. And we as a society put guardrails around other things that we know to be dangerous and to have negative impact. Drugs, for example, cigarettes, gambling. We don't allow kids to participate in those things. And so I'm not for these draconian measures that we've seen some states pursue and some countries pursue, that I think would be a violation of free speech or to say, you're not allowed to use social media at all. What I think the lane that we ought to pursue is to say that everybody in the ecosystem has a responsibility to recognize when we have a child that is a user, and all of the companies know that. We can do that through age verification. We do that when we register children in their accounts, to set up their account, to just say, hey, everybody, this is a child. We're not going to serve up that kind of material to them. We're going to back off those algorithms that would put inappropriate material in their hands, and we're going to recognize that these things are dangerous and they've had a negative impact on kids. I mean, Emily, we've had children commit suicide here in Louisiana as a result of isolation, depression, anxiety that social media played a role in. That's the kids that brought me this bill idea had that experience. And that was really the impetus for us to do that work. And I think we've got more work to do. And until there's a national standard, I think you're going to see states continue to weigh in on this.
Yeah, I love that, Rep. Carver. Something we mentioned earlier in the show is when you have a bill that someone brings to you versus a bill that is kind of in your own brain and you're passionate about. And this subject really is a mix of both of those for you, especially with your three daughters. And please tell them that Uncle Dixon says Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll be sure to catch more fish next year off the pier. But, that passion that you bring and the expertise now you have real life resources, at your house to use, right? I when I talk about traffic in the capital region, that's just me driving around. But, you can practically rely on your daughters, and now they're part of this legislative process as well with you.
Yeah, and if you could, in this we got about a minute left, just kind of respond to that, right? Like, how does that going forward, like, what is some hope maybe you can give to some parents that are listening in this last, 40 seconds or so, 35, 40 seconds?
Well, it is, and Uncle Dixon, thanks for that. My girls are going to be thrilled that you mentioned them on the radio when I tell them that later. But as a parent, I would tell you my wife and I are active, engaged, resource parents that don't cede any ground. We're active, we're on duty, we're paying attention, and we're involved. And it is very hard for us to keep up with all three kids' accounts and their multiple platforms and who they're texting and messages that they're receiving and messages that they're sending and content that they're watching. And it can be a full-time job, but I would tell parents, don't cede any ground on that. This is a dangerous world, and we're all familiar with that term of helicopter parenting. And I think a lot of people over the last 10 or 15 years have been very careful with how they raise their kids and what they allow them to be exposed to. But yet we've put in their hands something that gives them access to the world and to very dangerous people.
That's right.
And to very dangerous material.
Well,
and so we can't slack up. We've got to lean in on this.
Well, Rep. Carver, thank you so much for being with us, taking some time out this morning. Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful time this week, and we appreciate your time, your few minutes this morning.
Same to y'all, friends. Merry Christmas, and have a wonderful New Year. I look forward to being with y'all soon.
Thanks, Rep. Carver. We'll be back after this with Mayor-elect Sid Edwards.
Sorry about that. I'm trying to move it fast.
We're doing way better on our timing than Brian does, I would say.
Text Brian.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt.
Dixon just said, "Hey, Brian."
Oh man, when it's the two of them going back and forth,
It's fun.
That doesn't mean 10. That means shut up.
Kim did great. That was awesome.
Yeah.
We got 37.
Well, 12-minute, hopefully, interview with the mayor-elect.
That'd be good.
And then this day in history to close it out.
That's it. My son
Coach texted back. He's ready.
He's ready? I know. He's so great. Thumbs
I wish
up.
I could have been there with him that night.
Me too. I was at a dance competition for my daughter. I'm like texting people as we're.
I was at that table with the news people.
I saw that.
9:22. I called
You
it.
called
and they're
it?
like, and the lady was like, "Our expert hadn't called you." I was like, "Well, your expert."
No, I was watching online, watching early vote, and I was watching everything come in. I was like, it ain't changing.
And when it hit, like in my calculation, it hit like she had to hit 235 in every precinct left that I didn't know where they were coming from.
Right.
I was like, can't do it.
It's impossible. I know. I'm excited about the transition team. Everything going on.
Is this the top of your pen?
I did. It just feels. Throw it away. My Renee Amar, Louisiana Women Lead. I'm like, what's happening? I love this pen. I need to get another one.
Has he been on Brian's show yet? Like a full mayor segment with him yet? Okay, good. Good. I didn't think about that though. Like we probably are the freshman class. I have to ask Robin to look that up for me. That has spent the most days together at the Capitol.
Probably. I would.
But but one of those other classes, I don't know if that was their freshman year. That's what I mean. Like your freshman year, because that's the difference between. Yes. So 20 had two. They had two extraordinary sessions as well. I wonder how long they were. 16 had two as well. 12 was nothing. 8 had two. Yeah, pretty close.
I can imagine. I know he's had a whirlwind since. There's so much. Like, for the mayor, a lot going on. I like his logo on his Facebook page.
Oh, I sent that to Mason. I was like, man, I know the reason you did that because you love a good lapel pin.
What is his role in the...
I don't know yet. He keeps telling me different things. Christmas is 2 days away, but in 10 days, we're going to have the inauguration for our new mayor president, and he's on the line with us now. Coach Sid Edwards. Coach, good morning to you, sir. How you doing, Mr. Mayor-elect?
I am doing great. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
Thanks for being with us. Just, 16 days ago elected, 10 days now away from inauguration. I know your transition team is working hard, Coach, so we just wanted to check in with you here. Your first Christmas week as mayor-elect, and like I keep asking you every time I see you, have you gotten any sleep yet?
No.
Not at all.
No, very, very little. But it's two E's, exhilarating and exhausting, but it's all good.
I love that. And, of course, I saw you this weekend out and about, with some events out in town, and that's great as well. So, Coach, really want to jump on this segment with you here a couple minutes. Thanks for joining us this morning on the next 10 days and what we're going to be expecting coming from you, your office that you're putting together. Then, of course, on Thursday, January 2nd, and your inauguration. So, know you had a couple transition meetings. How's Senator Rick Edmonds doing for you so far? And how have those been sitting in with those group of people that are now going to be charged with leading our city and our parish going forward?
Man, I'm excited about Senator Edmonds. He has been a rock star, as well as Darrell Glasper.
Yep.
Those two guys are my co-chairs of that transition, and we're working on, the team is so diverse, so dynamic, so passionate about Baton Rouge and the parish. We're excited, and we're going to probably as early as this afternoon roll out the next names that are joining our transition. There's about another dozen names, and we're pretty close to making some announcements on some hires, some positions in government, pending some things. So a lot happening. There's just a buzz in town, a good vibe, and I'm not going to credit me with that. It's everyone involved, and what we're about to do in this parish is just going to be tremendous.
Yeah, Coach, from the north to the south, I think when you ran, one thing that always struck me was, a guy from North Baton Rouge that's coaching right now, 70805 up there with the Struma, has those connections to the south as well, everywhere around the parish. I'm curious, is there a spot that you haven't been yet in the parish that kind of you're looking forward to getting out there and meeting a little more? I don't think there is really, but just from your mind, when you're driving around, is there an area you drive by, like, I need to come back and maybe go around this part a little bit more during my first 100 days?
There is. Actually, it's Baker.
Okay.
I have not, everywhere else I think I've had my boots on the ground pretty good, but I'm looking forward to going over there and meeting with the mayor and meeting with those folks, because that's the place, you have the campaign, but just in 6 days, 7 days removed from the election, I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm coming. Baker, I'm coming. Okay, let the Buffaloes know Coach is on the way.
That was my first thought, the Baker Buffaloes, Coach. As the sports announcer I am, when I hear a town or a place, I always think of the high school mascot. I'm here with a Leesville Wampus cat up here in Emily Chenevert.
Originally, that's
right. We got three Wampus cats in the legislature, Coach. I'm outnumbered. The Bears I only got one. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Hey, that is good representation from those Wampus Cats. And you got the number one with you right there, that's for sure.
Well, look, I say, Coach, Mayor-elect, I get so excited about what you wanted to say. I think one thing, just talking about on the sports analogy, you were talking about you have such a great, diverse transition team. And, I think, Coach, it just says a lot about where I think we're headed as a city and parish is that we have a wonderful, diverse city and parish. And, as a coach, so much of it is just getting people excited, finding out strengths of your players and where they fit. And I think looking at that team and looking at your leadership, and I feel like that's why there's excitement. That vibe is that like you're on the field and everyone's kind of getting ready for a huge game these next few years. And so, what has that been like for you sitting at that table with so many people around it? I've seen some pictures at one of y'all's first meetings, and it really is a great group. What was some of your takeaways and hearing them share and seeing that team that you have with you and stepping into this role?
Well, I mean, there's so many wonderful ideas and thoughts and processes, about where to go and how to get there. And I've said this, as a team, you want everyone pulling on the same rope. Yeah. I think what's been missing is no one can find the rope or agree which rope we're pulling on, if that makes sense. So it's identifying that and then getting to pulling. But here again, the talent in the room. Here's what I tell people, because there's a lot of angst. Where the excitement is in Baton Rouge, there's also some angst and nervousness, about everybody's a lot in life, a lot in Baton Rouge. And I tell people, the billionaire contractor, whoever that may be, or someone, is very important. But they're no more important than the barber on Plank Road trying to make a living that's going to be on my transition team. There's an equal importance there. And I think people are feeling that. And now I got to prove it. You see, belief without evidence. We ask people to believe, but in our world today, they got to have evidence. Well, the evidence is coming. You're already starting to see it, the representation. And it's going to be a tough job because certainly not everybody's going to be happy with decisions I make, But as long as everyone knows it's for the greater good, then we're going to be fine.
Man, Coach, my brain is rolling right now with sports talks, and that was Skip Burtman, hold the rope right there.
That's good.
You had the Notre Dame coach talked about you got to always believe. The problem when they built Notre Dame the first time and it burnt down was they didn't build it big enough, is what he used to say. Just great stuff there. That's awesome.
Well, Coach, have you had a chance? I know, obviously, being in East Baton Rouge Parish, there's mayors and in different parts, obviously, of our parish. Have you had a chance to kind of meet with? I don't know if you have yet, but, Central and Baker and Zachary, have you had a chance to kind of meet with some of the other leaders in some of these, different parts of the parish? And I know you have a relationship with City of St. George, my area as well. And so just how has that been in this transition time for you?
It's good. I've met with Mayor Yates of St. George and Mayor Evans of Central. And as a matter of fact, today I'm making a call, of course, to Baker and Zachary to line that up for hopefully the 26th, 27th, and just kind of making my rounds. And, we're all in it together. We're all, the big key is to be all as one, for sure. And I think those mayors are excited as well, and I'm excited to be in a part of their team. I had Mayor Evans, everybody talking, whoever you talk to, say, hey, man, we can't wait to work for you, just anyone in particular. And the way I roll is no one works for me. We work with each other. You work with me. And I'm carrying that philosophy, in the city hall, that we're going to work together, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that coach mentality of, the wins of the players and the losses are all on you. I know you'll be bringing to the building downtown. And, Coach, something you mentioned, that's something we struggle with is the Capital Region delegation of legislators, right, that we are so diverse. We have many different ideas. It's, which one of those ropes do you want to hold together as a group that you actually can all agree on? It's not easy a lot of times, and trying to get that consensus and have people together on one issue is tough. But I tell you what, when you can come together and do it, you can see some bold, positive change and really great things coming to our city and our parish. What do you think so far is something that you think collectively, you think hold the rope to Skip Burtman kind of talk there? What are some of those maybe early kind of strategies you think we could see coming from Mayor President Sid Edwards?
Well, there's a divide in our city. There's a divide in the parish. I could go all the way through the nation, right? There's divide there. And I think a part of it is not understanding each other sometimes. We're going to take what I'll call a field trip to North Baton Rouge, because a lot of people look at North Baton Rouge, and I asked the whole team, who goes to North Baton Rouge? And most of the hands went up. Well, most, when they go there, they're going to the airport, they're going to Southern University, maybe Tony's Seafood, a popular spot. And, there's only one Krispy Kreme donut in the parish, right? So they may go over there for those things. But you see, that's the front porch in North Baton Rouge. When you open the door and peel back the curtain, there's a part of that part of our city that people don't know about. And I'm going to take the folks from the south and I'm bringing them into the north, and I'm going to take the people from the north and bring them into the south to see and feel and understand more. Because there's nothing, like I said, like your boots being on the ground and actually seeing what's going on. And that's going to happen, within the first 20 days. We're going to go out and we're going to scour the whole parish and look, how does the other half live? Whatever side it is. And I think that's powerful for people to see it and feel it and maybe understand it a little more.
And I don't even know if it's halves anymore, Coach, at this point, with the different cities we have around the parish, the unincorporated areas as well. It really is something I've mentioned to you is, you're now the athletic director of the parish, right? And each one of those cities is a different sports team, and they all have their own head coach on there. They're different players, and now you got to kind of learn who they are, sit back, and bring us, as we say at LSU a lot, let's bring those the championships, back home to East Baton Rouge Parish as a whole.
Yeah, those folks certainly have autonomy, and I have confidence in them. And, one of my roles as mayor president is to assist them, to help them within my power, to give them all the tools necessary. And then I'm going to say, hey, look, go be great. They're all great already in their own respect, right? But for them to have the freedom and to go do their thing. Zachary and Central Baker, I know they're working hard in Baker. Let's work together and tell me what is it that the mayor president can do? What can our office do to assist and help in that? Because, gosh, if those areas continue to grow and continue to be great and shining lights, what will that do for Baton Rouge? Because we're the capital city. Okay, no matter what, this is the capital city, and I want to get to the point where I'm going to be all over and help all those folks. But there will be a focus right here in Baton Rouge.
Well, we love it, Coach, and we really appreciate, of course, we're with Mayor President-elect Sid Edwards. Taking some time on this Monday morning. I know you probably have 14,000 meetings to get to today, but just wanted to catch up with you on this Monday and wish you a Merry Christmas, a great week. I know our Legislative Capital Region delegation is excited. We're going to be getting with you, I know, in the coming weeks. Already have our meetings set up on the calendar for that. So we just wish you a Merry Christmas, Coach, and a Happy New Year, and continue the good work, and we'll be praying for you and wishing you well. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Merry Christmas. I appreciate you. Thank you.
We'll be back after this. Mornings without Brian Haldane. All those I can do the entire hold the rope speech from Skip, and then he did the Notre Dame one. Then he said another one after that. There was one more. What else he said? You gotta believe. That's the Notre Dame speech. He said another coach one after that. I was like, it's just. This day in history, and shut it down after this, huh, everybody?
Y'all got some good ones.
I got one. You do Born first, or you do the events first? What do you do?
Which side are you on? I'll go to a different one. one do you go to, the History Channel, or do you do?
I just click them all. What events burst in what?
Deaths and national days.
I don't even know how to say that word. It's National Foruneness Day. Don't even know what that is. When I'm looking up birthdays, I realize like how like just dumb I am. Like I don't know who any of these people are, and it's like they're listed as like famous people, and I'm like, I must have.
No, that's what I do with every day with Brian. It's like, you got anybody else? I'm like, not anybody notable. Like, unless you're on like a TikTok star or YouTube,
I never know
like,
half these people.
And they're meshed in, like Dixon says, they're meshed in with some of the greatest people. But yeah. The most well-known and notable people. Just kind of.
I'll share this one. This is National Christmas Movie Marathon Day.
Oh.
Speaking of our,
Emily
I should have
Chenevert
said that
Day of
earlier in our
Excellence.
segment.
That one is definitely.
That's another thing on these national days. Some days I'm like, well, they got this day, and Brian's like, really? I'm like, yeah, man. I can't like. Some days there's never a good one. It's like,
There's never a good one.
Like this gives me something to work with, like National Movie Day, or like there's one more, Festivus from Seinfeld.
That's today.
Seinfeld.
That's today.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But then you get National Roots Day, like I guess we can work with that. Birthday of Emperor Akihito.
You got that one, dog.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna mention that. But some days, like that's the only ones available. When really, in all reality, I could just make one up, and he wouldn't know. No one would know.
All right, Baton Rouge, we're almost getting finished here. Mornings without Brian Haldane, Dixon McMakin, Emily Chenevert. We're going to end the show with a little This Day in History. You're good. I can't hear when you cut me.
Oh, right. Taking it back to 1888, the infamous day where Vincent van Gogh cuts off his left ear with a razor.
Read about that one.
That's insane. That's insane to me. The fact that he cut it off after an argument and then sends it, it says here, he sends it to a female for safekeeping, female courtesan for safekeeping. It's strange, man. History is such a weird thing. 1913, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson signs the Federal Reserve Act into law, creates the central banking Federal Reserve System. Let's see, 1938, Margaret Hamilton's costume catches fire while filming The Wizard of Oz.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's how we got Wicked.
Speaking of Wicked, yeah. So are you guys fans or anyone saw it?
I have not seen it yet.
Not seen it? Yeah.
No, actually, I think I have some family members that have seen it, but I have not. Dixon, have you seen Wicked?
I've seen many parts of it. Haven't seen the whole thing
And
yet.
I've not seen it.
Huge fan. Huge Broadway guy. You start saying something, I might sing it for you.
Oh, man. Here we go. 1968, let's see. Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and William Anders become the first people to orbit the moon aboard Apollo 8.
Right.
Allegedly. 1971, U.S. President Richard Nixon commutes remaining 8 years of Teamsters labor union leader Jimmy Hoffa's 13-year jail term for bribery and fraud. So I guess, yeah, he commutes remaining 8 years.
Wow.
I guess. Yeah.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
He's under the bridge. Horace Wilkinson Bridge,
That's
actually.
it.
Yeah, that's where he is.
Let's see, 1997 here. U.S. Agriculture Department estimates it costs around $149,820 to raise a child to 18 years of age. 1997. And, of course, I'm sure that has grown substantially since then.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, with fast food delivery and all that. 1972, the Immaculate Reception, down 7-6, 22 seconds left to go.
Okay.
Bradshaw to Franco for the Steelers' victory is one I found today.
Nice. We got about 1 minute left here. Moving on to birthdays. Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things and things like that. You have anybody on your end?
Well, I want to share that today, in connection to our earlier segment on our Christmas movie trivia, is National Christmas Movie Marathon Day.
Yes,
so
it
there's
is.
still time to get those movies in.
Yes, absolutely.
Get those in. Then a birthday shout out to our governor,
Our
Jeff
governor,
Landry.
Jeff Landry's
Nice. Awesome.
birthday today.
Nice.
Governor Landry.
Well, it looks like that's coming to the end of our show, everybody. So, yeah, thank you.
And
so much.
Festivus. So I got a lot of grievances there with you people.
Sorry.
Feats of strength later today. I'm going to shake Gordy Rush's hand and crush it.
Well, Merry Christmas to everyone.
And Happy New Year. And Mornings
right.
Without Brian Haldane will continue. Thursday, David St. Romain, and Emily and I will be back on Friday. So enjoy it all. Have a great day, Baton Rouge. God bless and TCB.
All right.
I've never watched Seinfeld.
Good times.
I don't know anything about it.
It is really, you would actually love it. I think you would think it's fun. Some of it.
Yeah, I've never really watched Seinfeld.
So when Philip comes, will you let me know? Because they asked me to maybe schedule around time because, like, my area, I don't need a full day.
Yeah.
You know, you already have your date when you're doing it.
I wouldn't even do it with him.
Well, I was like, if we do the Baton Rouge delegation,
Yeah, we could do it.
we could do something where I don't really need a whole day in my area. I don't.
Yeah. He had mentioned like